This is Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan Appreciation Day at Arlington Stadium, and the fans are appreciating more than just Nolan Ryan. They like the scoreboard, as the other game of the day that is being watched very closely involves the Detroit Tigers and the Chicago White Sox. And before the Rangers even take the field, Norm Hitzkes, it's happy news.
The Tigers have battered Cy Young candidate Jack McDowell to cover, knocking him out in the first inning. Big hits from Fielder and Davis. Detroit behind young John Doherty still hits in the first inning against reliever Kurt McCaskill, up 6-0.
That takes some of the pressure off the Rangers, but on the other hand, not so, because the opportunity to gain a full game is right in front of Texas. Here's the Minnesota batting order. Chuck Knobloch will be at second base. Rich Becker, the rookie, in center field. Kirby Puckett in right. Shane Mack in left. Brian Harper, the catcher. Chip Hale, the designated hitter. Then David McCarty at first base. Scott Stahoviak at third, and Denny Hocking at shortstop. The Ranger defense: Gonzalez, David Hulsbeck in the lineup with Rob Ducey in right. Palmer, Diaz, Strange, and Palmeiro. Rodriguez catches Nolan Ryan. A quick note on that outfield alignment. Reedus had to pull himself. The knee's a problem.
Ryan making just his 11th start of the year, coming off the disabled list for the third time this year, this time off the strained muscle in his lower rib cage in his last start, August 22nd.
And the first pitch is bounced on one hop to Palmer at third. That's one. Knobloch, the Houstonian, hitting .282 with 2 homers and 38 RBIs, and he is a quick first out.
Well, at this pace, Ryan can pitch a 27-pitch complete game.
Yeah, they're going to put a pitch limit on him, but it wouldn't be a problem if everyone did that. There you see the numbers for Nolan. They've not been great, of course, but he has certainly not had a healthy final season in the major leagues. He'll be facing Rich Becker, who is one of 5 Twins who have never struck out against Ryan, because most of them never faced anybody in the major leagues. Becker, a rookie, his debut in this series, and he takes a strike.
In fact, in the Twins lineup today, there are 5 hitters who literally have never faced Nolan Ryan: Becker, Hale, McCarty, Stahoviak, and Hocking.
Becker takes the pitch wide. Becker was playing at Nashville this year, and he hit .287 with 15 homers, 66 RBIs, and he stole 29 bases. He has 2 hits and 6 major league at-bats in this series. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 91 degrees, breezy, and partly cloudy here at Arlington Stadium. Every single seat has been sold, and folks are still coming in. High fastball, and the count goes even. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ryan had a simulated game that he pitched on Tuesday. He pronounced himself fit following that game. He had no problems with the rib cage muscle on the left side.
Becker was born after Nolan Ryan had completed his 3rd major league season.
Here's the 2-2. A little bit low. Home plate umpire is Durwood Merrill from Hooks, Texas.
And by the way, that's really good news for Ryan. He's thrown 3 games with Durwood behind home plate, and every one of them has been a terrific game. In 24 innings with Durwood behind the plate, Ryan has struck out 33 men.
Fouled back. Count still full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Becker. The crowd, tickets sold over 41,000, and the festivities began about an hour and a half ago with the banner parade, part of which you saw.
Greg, this is going to be a red-letter day in Dallas-Fort Worth. There will be more than 100,000 people pay their way into the Ranger-Cowboy combination afternoon games.
3 balls and 2 strikes to Becker with 1 out in the first. And he walks.
Boy, a lot of patience for a kid facing Nolan Ryan on Nolan Ryan Appreciation Day.
Well, Becker walked 94 times in 138 games at Nashville, so he's no stranger to knowing what the strike zone is.
And Greg, you know what you got to love about Becker? This kid is 21 years old. This is a high school player in the major leagues after just 3 years. That is really rare. How long did it take Palmer? 5.5 years out of high school? It really tells you how good a player Becker's going to be.
Kirby Puckett hit a grand slam home run, which gave the Twins a lead temporarily last night. 20 homers, 81 RBIs. You got to watch Becker at first with the 29 steals, and Ryan's inability to hold runners generally.
Boy,
Pitches
nice
wide.
Play by Rodriguez.
Yeah, he saved a runner in scoring position.
That was an outstanding play. This ball gets away from Pudge and most other catchers in the league a majority of the time. That's a terrific play.
To short hop it and not even backhand it, getting underneath it was the tough part. And the count goes 2 balls and no strikes to Puckett. One thing that is tough to judge from simulated games that Nolan threw on Tuesday is actual control. To be quite honest, they have a designated player or coach that's calling balls and strikes, but they can usually be talked out of some of the close ones. So you really couldn't tell what kind of control Nolan had Tuesday or will have today. 2 balls and no strikes. So far, not good.
You don't think Nolan gets the advantage of calls in simulated games? Is that what you're telling us?
He occasionally will give one. But generally speaking, he'll say, that looked like a strike to me. And it's 3 balls and no strikes to Puckett. He's got to be careful here.
Well, while the Twins lineup is populated by baby faces, the middle contains 3 rugged hitters.
Going on the 3-0, and he fouls it back. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Because the middle of this lineup, Puckett, Mack, and Harper are all healthy, and they're all hitting well right now.
Well, and Puckett against the Rangers has hit homers in 3 of his last 4 games against the Rangers.
Well, that's been his career, though. Puckett's whole career, he's tortured Texas.
Not quite 3 out of every 4.
No. He's a
3 balls and a strike.
.310 hitter for his career with 14 homers against Texas.
That pitch is wide.
Now,
that average, I think, is a little under his. Yeah, it's under his career average, 321.
Greg, this is a great spot if the Twins want to run Becker. He's got good speed. Puckett's ahead in the count. Good spot to run Becker.
Doesn't go. Pitch is a strike. 3 balls and 2 strikes. I'm not sure what Kirby was complaining on that pitch about. Maybe he was just saying it was a good pitch because it's hard to throw one low to him. Maybe that movement. That almost came back around the outside.
I don't think Kirby thought that ball was at the knees.
Count is full.
Usually the hitter will say something like, hey, that's Nolan Ryan. He doesn't need help.
At first base on the 3-2 pitch, you can almost be sure that Becker's going to give it a shot. A couple of reasons. One, Tom Kelly wants to see what kind of a base runner he really has. He stole 29 in Double-A, but that was Double-A. And you got a good hitter here, so you've got to send him on 3-2. And they do. Swing and a miss. Punchless throw. Out, double play.
Terrible pitch that Puckett swings at, but Rodriguez nails the runner.
The top of the first is over. Rangers coming up. We'll check the order. Men have gotten off the field in great shape, and now the batting order will have Rob Ducey in right field, Doug Strange at second base, Rafael Palmeiro at first base, Juan Gonzalez in left field, Julio Franco the designated hitter, then Ivan Rodriguez catches, Dean Palmer at third base, David Hulse in center field, and Mario Diaz the shortstop. Here's the defense for the Twins. Some familiar names, a lot not. Mack in left, Becker in center, Puckett in right, Stahoviak is at third, Hocking at shortstop, Knobloch at second, McCarty first, Harper catches, Kevin Tapani.
Tapani is 29 years old, mixes a fastball, a curveball, and 2 different changeups, a straight change and a splitter. Tapani was in the midst of a horrible year, but has picked it up since the All-Star break to get back to 8-14. Tapani has won 5 and lost 3 in his last 11, and his earned run average is in the 3s. This is one durable, terrific young pitcher. He has not missed a start since August of 1990. That's a span of 101 consecutive starts. His career record against the Rangers, 5-3, and that includes 2-0 in this stadium.
Here's that Detroit-Chicago game in the first, actually now batting in the bottom of the first. In Toronto with a lead over California in the 5th. Kansas City over New York 4th. Just some of the updated around baseball. Big story, of course, as far as the Rangers concerned. That Detroit-Chicago game. Now the Rangers need to score some runs. Rob Ducey, 333, no homers, 6 RBIs. He's had a habit of leading off ball games with hits, and he takes the first pitch for a strike. He started 10 of the last 13 games in center, starts this one in right. He was going to be the center fielder, but Gary Reedus' knee's a problem after playing last night, the doubleheader the night before, and so it gives the Rangers an opportunity to get David Hulse back into the lineup in center field. And It makes the Rangers pretty doggone strong on the right side defensively in the outfield. They should cover all the gaps.
Makes them pretty fast also.
Ducey leading off. Hulse is batting in the 8th slot. Played all year at Oklahoma City until coming up. That's looped foul into the crowd. First souvenir of the Ranger half.
Tapani's 14 losses are already a career high, but he's coming off maybe his best game of the season. It was a shutout of the Indians.
He also has a good record lifetime against the Rangers. Pretty low earned run average, I think in the low 3s. Bouncing ball out to Knobloch at second base. 1 out.
One other thing about Tapani is really intriguing, and that's he's a late season pitcher. He is not very good in April and May, but he's been sensational in his career from June on. He's 39-25 in his career once they hit the 1st of June.
Astros on to a good start against the Phillies, as you see. Doug Strange, 254, 6 homers, 51 runs batted in.
Phillies are in danger of getting run down in that East also.
There's a looper that'll be in for a base hit. Doug Strange will be at first base. He'll take the turn and hold with the game's first safety.
You know, Greg, a lot of things have to happen for a team to put together a 6-game win streak like the Rangers have. And one of the things that seems to have happened this week is the Rangers are hitting in fantastic luck. They've had a lot of bloopers and chinks and dribblers find holes and pop flies and shanks hit safely, and they really have hit in some luck this week.
There was a good example. Of course, Gary Redis' base hit that won the ball game, the second game of the doubleheader, was a broken bat that just got over the shortstop. Of course, this guy has hit some out of the yard, including last night, his 35th. He now has 96 RBIs and a batting average of .311. Rafael Palmeiro fouls it back. That hit is his only one in the last 6 at-bats, that home run last night, but .480 in the last 7 games. Of course, 6 of those make up this homestand, so he has been red hot.
If you're sitting at home thinking, why don't the Rangers take a pitch or two for Tapani? Forget it. This guy never walks anybody.
You get up there and be aggressive. The 0-1 runner goes at first. Hit and run. Throw through by Harper. He is in. Not in time. He missed the tag. He got in with a hand. Throw got down there pretty well, but it was offline and a stolen base. And by the way, we have an Itch in the Steel contest winner before he even knows he's in the contest. Greg Wolf, you are the winner of $100. He was going to be today's Itch in the Steel contestant from Desenex. And I'm not sure he made that by the whole lot, but he wins $100, and he's now entered into the grand prize drawing for a weekend at spring training and will receive 2 tickets to a Ranger home game. Don't forget, you can pick up your entry form at any Albertsons. Greg Wolf, a winner this afternoon. Now in scoring position for Palmeiro, who swings and misses, and he's fooled badly. Now Chicago has scored 3 in the first. I wonder if Frank Thomas hit one.
Well, when Chicago does something in the first,
he almost has always something to do with it.
He tends to be in the middle of things, doesn't he?
2 outs. Boy, Tapani took care of Palmeiro rather easily.
Well, Greg, this kid is a quality pitcher. He got off to just a horrible, horrible beginning this year. But he's really put it together since the All-Star break.
Gonzalez 8 for his last 19 with 2 homers and 5 RBIs on this homestand. 43 all told. Runner in scoring position. No score in the game. There's that fairly high strike zone from Durwood Merrill. No balls and a strike.
Tapani's pitched twice against the Rangers this year. He lost in the Metrodome on the 31st of May, 1-0 to Charlie Leibrandt. Then he won here June 10th, despite allowing a season-high 10 hits.
There's a shot toward the middle, base hit. Here comes Doug Strange with a first Ranger run. It's 1-0 Texas.
Now let's flip the coin over. In Chicago, they're going to see a run go up in the bottom of the first for the Rangers, and they're going to say, I wonder if Juan Gonzalez did anything.
Well, he just did something. RBI number 110.
Second time in 2 games that Gonzalez has just been a good hitter with a pitch. Met it, drove it. Didn't overswing. Rangers get a run.
Of course, the shortstop overshifted against the hard pull hitter. And that gave him some room. And Doug Strange, who had the Ranger first hit on a stolen base, comes home. And Rangers manufactured that one with a couple of singles. Here's Julio Franco. Franco has hit safely in 10 of the last 11. Takes the first pitch for a strike. His average at 290. He's raised his average the last 26 games, 17 points, 14 homers, 73 runs batted in.
And the streak is now 60 of 61 games, reaching base safely for Franco.
By the way, the White Sox didn't get any more than 3 in the first. They got just the 3, and so the Tigers are now batting. 1 ball and 1 strike. Gonzalez at first base. Franco the hitter. Rangers leading 1-0, bottom of the first. In tight.
Rangers today going for what would be a season best 7-game win streak.
Well, if you're going to win big prizes, you got to have a streak, and the Rangers are having it now, and they need it to continue. They've still got 3 more home games on this stand, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We'll have all of them for you, including Tuesday night when Norm and I go back out in the center field bleachers. Hope you join us.
Definitely come out and see us Tuesday night. Meanwhile, Franco, whose contract is up at the end of the season, saying he wants to be a second baseman again next year. I'm not sure that's the role the Rangers would want him back in, but he says he wants to play second base for somebody next year. One gets the feeling that statement made to maybe increase his bargaining power with some national teams. National League.
Oh, I think there's positions he could play, but I don't see the middle infield anymore. Here's the 3-1, and that pitch is a ball.
No, I don't either. With the nimbleness necessary for middle infield play, Julio's knees, while they're better, a lot better, that's not a position you'd like to trust Julio full-time in, you wouldn't think.
Mahler with a big homer there. You know, we're hearing a lot of people writing off Canseco as being an outfielder, and the reality is that may be premature. He's not a pitcher. Pitchers have come back from that surgery, which, by the way, you notice in the national press they keep saying he had shoulder surgery in a couple places. Well,
yes.
It was elbow. But pitchers have come back from that, and 18 months that quickly. Well, he's not a pitcher.
Amen. The last time we saw him, he certified that. He is not a pitcher.
The point I'm making is don't automatically think that he can't play the outfield anymore.
And again, like we mentioned the other night, Kevin Kennedy saying Friday morning on our talk show that he'd already talked to Canseco, who said he was receptive to converting to first base next year if the Rangers needed him to do it. 1
ball and no strikes to Ivan Rodriguez. Swings and misses. Ivan having a little trouble over the last few games. Hitless in his last 13 at-bats and 2 for his last 19. So he needs to get straightened away. The Rangers could use a base hit here. 1 ball and 1 strike. That's fouled away. In his career, just 9 at-bats against Tapani. Ivan has a couple of hits. Rangers have 1 run and 2 hits here in the bottom of the first. Tigers no runs. They had a walk. Nolan Ryan Appreciation Day. And by the way, don't forget, even after this game is over, stay with us because we will cover all of the festivities. In fact, we'll have more than just the festivities. Norm's going to go down to the gathering area and talk to some folks that are on hand, and then we'll bring you the ceremonies that follow. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
We mentioned not to bother waiting for Tapani to walk you. In his last 16 starts, he's never walked more than 2 men. In those 16 starts, a total of 20 walks. In his entire career, he's walked more than 3 men 4 times.
2-2 to Rodriguez, loop back foul as he stays alive, and it's still 2-2.
Greg, of the starters in the American League, as UCA sold out Arlington Stadium, can you think of anybody better than Tapani's career average of 1.9 walks per 9 innings?
Not presently. That's presently.
I mean, there's some relievers. I mean, Eckersley's got fabulous control as a reliever, but as starters, this may be the best control pitcher in the major leagues, 1.89.
Probably is now. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fouled away to stay alive. Pud's doing a good job shortening the swing just a little bit to spoil a few, waiting for that mistake that he hopes Tapani can come through with. Tapani a native of Iowa, facing a young but hard-slugging native of Puerto Rico.
One more thing Tapani's been doing much better of late. He's been keeping the ball in the park. 6 of his last 8 starts, he hasn't yielded a home.
Runners going. Pitch is driven to left field high and deep and back. And the wind is going to bring it into Shane Mack's glove. And that retires the side as we take a look at Nolan Ryan's great moment, his 5,000th strikeout. Your Sherman, Texas fans say thank you, Nolan Ryan. This copyrighted program presented by the authority of Major League Baseball and the Texas Rangers, intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or the use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written permission of Major League Baseball, the Texas Rangers, and home sports entertainment is prohibited. Here you feel some of that heat. Nolan Ryan is feeling it. It is 92 degrees and mostly sunny, but very breezy. In fact, the ball that Rodriguez hit, when it was first hit, Mack headed directly for the warning track. He thought it had a chance. The wind, if you look at the flags, is blowing toward the foul pole in left, but that means it is heavy, and that means it's getting caught and it's swirling, and that one just killed it. Now let's see if it kills this one. Gonzalez going over toward the line, and that one got killed out of here. Home run. Didn't kill that one. Shane Mack used that wind, and that time he got it high enough, and the wind kept it over the yard, and it's tied at 1. And they will be urged to throw the ball back. And they did.
Oh, no. Now, see, that takes a little gumption. I mean, what happens, Lord unwilling, if Ryan leaves here with a ribcage muscle pull again, never pitches again? You could have the ball he last yielded for a homer, and 10 years from now, somebody sells that someplace for like $15,000. You say, oh, yeah, I threw that one back.
He just got this one up. This is Shane Mack's 10th of the season.
He also gets it right down the line where the distance is a little shorter. And the ball wasn't quite as high as Rodriguez. It stayed below the rim of the ballpark.
2 balls and no strikes to Harper. Harper hitting .306 with 12 homers and 67 runs batted in. The first hit given up by Ryan is the first run. 4th home run he surrendered this year. There's a fist job to right field. Doug Strange has to race back. Still going, and he takes it again. He is Mr. Pop Fly Specialist. That's 1 out. Go fish at Long John Silver's, where right now you can go for one of 3 great special meals, each just $1.99 at Long John Silver's, where America goes for fish. Today's game also brought to you by the Dallas Morning News. Catch all the action in Sports Day every day only in the Dallas Morning News. The hitter is Chip Hale, the designated hitter. .317, 3 homers, 21 runs batted in. Another one of the young players this club is taking a look at. Strike on the first pitch, 5 for 151 in the last 57 games. He came up in June.
Wait a minute. What'd you say there? 5 for 151?
I said 51 for 151, didn't I?
I was going to say, no, you said 5. I was going to say, now there is a slump.
Yeah, well, he's just the opposite. 338. No balls and 2 strikes.
People listening out there saying, why are they playing this Yahoo?
Well, one reason they're playing him, despite the fact that he is actually hitting .338 over the last number of games, is that Kent Hrbek isn't here. That's a swing and a foul tip. There's an update again from the pennant races. The Astros with a big lead over Philadelphia.
Montreal win could pull them within 5.
Hrbek has a sick daughter. Don't let me finish that. That's one of the reasons we haven't seen him at all.
And Steve Balboni, mammoth first baseman for the Rangers, also not here. Home in New Jersey with, like Hrbek, an illness in the family.
No balls and 2 strikes to Hale. This is outside.
Doing Manny Lee not playing again today. Even if Manny were well, you get a feeling Kevin wouldn't play him. With the way Mario Diaz has played the last few days, Manny bothered by the flu this weekend.
No, Mario's back to being Super Mario again once the mumps passed, or the chicken pox. Missing outside. Ryan trying to paint the corner. The count is 2-2. There's 1 out in the second, 1 run in on Shane Mack's solo homer. The game is tied at 1.
Did you see the note that last night was the 900th Ranger win in Arlington Stadium?
Well, they've got a chance for 910 if they win out. They've got 10 more games. Here's the 2-2. This is what hurts. Nolan, you know, we've seen this pattern. He'll get ahead of somebody, and then he just can't put him away. He tries to make that perfect pitch. He's not the only pitcher that sometimes has that problem, but this Twin team has got a bunch of takers.
Well,
except for Kirby Puckett.
Yeah, who should have taken, by the way, and would have had Ryan in big trouble in the first inning. He'd taken a bad pitch on 3-2.
Missed. Had him 0-2 and lost him.
What bothers you here is not only the base runner when you were way ahead in the count, but again you go back to the thought the Rangers are going to go 90 to 100 pitches with Ryan today, and there's a half dozen to Hale without getting an out.
He'll face another man that he has never faced before, David McCarty, like Knobloch, a Texan by way of Stanford University. He's from the Houston area, went to Sharpstown High School. Knobloch went to Bel Air. McCarty hitting .230 with a homer and 14 runs batted in. There's a strike on the inside corner.
Boy, has that Stanford program started to produce players or what?
They've really had some good ones. They've won a couple national championships. They've had good pitchers. They've had good hitters. I mean,
Musina.
You know Musina. You know Helling. You know Sprague, who was a third baseman there, and they tried to turn him to a catcher, and he's back as a third baseman again in Toronto. You got this guy, McCarty. Baltimore's got one. He's an outfielder.
Jeffrey Hammonds.
Well, they've got another one too. But yeah, there's another. Paul Carey. That's the other one. In fact, he won one of the College World Series championships with a big homer.
Yeah, they really have a wonderful program going out at Stanford.
There's a strike.
Beauty.
1 ball and 2 strikes on McCarty.
Against Ryan this year, he's allowing opponents to hit only .219. Even with all the struggles with injuries, this league is still only hitting .219 against Ryan in his 10 starts.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Short lead at first. Little chopper. It is a foul ball now. Or is he out? He ran into the ball in foul fair territory. What happened there was McCarty ran into the ball where it was in foul territory, and there may be a little discussion here. Tom Kelly is coming out. You can't hit the ball while you're out of the batter's box in fair territory.
In fair territory, that's right. And McCarty's saying, wait a minute here. Ooh, David's unhappy.
Umpire didn't see him. Third base umpire's ignoring it, and Durwood Merrill didn't see him. Second base umpire did, but he's not paying attention. Otherwise, he would have been ejected.
Wayne Terwilliger at first base is trying to get the first base umpire, Drew Coble, to help here.
It either didn't hit him. He's acting like it hit him.
Yeah, that's the call.
You know, I think that's the call. Of course, now there was an interference possibility, but I think he was calling that it hit him.
Exactly. Merrill's call, he pointed at McCarty and then signaled out, indicating that the ball hit McCarty in fair territory. Well, the first thing McCarty did wrong was he's got to go to foul territory there. He puts himself in danger when he runs in fair territory. If that ball kicks foul, hits McCarty, it's simply nothing more than a foul ball.
Yeah, the putout goes to the catcher. I'm wondering, though, I think really, the more I look at that, I'm thinking he could have called interference on that, too, not allowing Rodriguez to field the ball. But I think my first judgment was that it was because he thought it hit him in fair territory. In any event, there are 2 outs, and the hitter is Stahoviak.
By the way, Montreal has gotten a run in the bottom of the 6th to lead Cincinnati 2-1 and continues to hit it. That race conceivably tightens another game.
Hale is at first. The pitch is wide. And the count 2 balls and no strikes to Stahoviak, who made his major league debut on this series. 143 so far, 1 hit.
And the Tiger game against the White Sox has now gone to the top of the 3rd. So Doherty has settled down and still 6-3 Detroit, top 3.
Stahoviak played this year at Nashville with .272, 12 homers, 56 runs batted in. Fly ball curving into the stands.
Greg, just in case people want to write down tentative Ryan starts for the rest of the season. Here, and this is really tentative, as you well know, with all the injuries and the Ranger staff. Tentatively, After today, he starts the 18th of September at California, the 24th of September at Chicago, and the 29th of September here.
That would be it if everything falls together, and he doesn't fall apart.
You want some intrigue? You want a real piece of intrigue? If the Rangers and White Sox tie at the end of the season and they go to a one-game playoff, it would be Ryan's turn to pitch.
That would be very, very significant. Certainly, if he's healthy and going hard at that point. 3 balls and a strike here to Stahoviak. Struck him out, and he joins the list. That's only strike 2. Check that. He's not on it yet. I jumped the gun.
Well, I believe the board did also.
Yeah, it had 2 strikes on 1 early. It is now 3 balls and 2 strikes. There are 2 outs. Runner at first will get a jump now. High fly ball, center field. Coming in for it is Strange. Well, now moving over toward the left. There's a good example of the wind. That really blew over toward left after it left the infield. We've got 2 outs. We'll go down to the farm and check in on Nolan as the Rangers get set to bat in the second. Is Dean Palmer as he leads off in the bottom of the second. Dean 239, 28 homers, 84 runs batted in. It is a 1-1 ball game. Rangers scoring on an RBI hit by Gonzalez. The Twins scoring on a solo homer by Shane Mack. 1 ball and a strike to Palmer.
By the way, just one more note, Greg. We mentioned just before the end of the last half inning that Ryan is scheduled September 24th. That would be the start of that 3-game series in Chicago, tentatively, followed by Brown and Rogers. And that's, again, we stress this is all tentative right now.
That's if the 5 men that are in the rotation now all are able to hang together and stay healthy. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Palmer stays off the pitch outside. Here's an update now. They're in the bottom of the third. Toronto trying to move around and take some ground in the east. Ball's lined into left field for a base hit. Stopped by Mack on 1 hop. Palmer with the Rangers' 3rd single. With David Hulse coming up and Palmer at first base, the Rangers want to try some things. They certainly can. Kansas City giving New York trouble.
Everybody's giving the Yankees trouble lately. Or the Yankees may look back at this week and say this is where it disappeared on us. That trip to Chicago and Kansas City.
David Hulse has not started for 13 games due to problems with his left hamstring. He did pinch hit and had a very key pinch hit in a Ranger victory in Boston. But he has been sidelined for 13. Swings and misses at the first one.
Hulse, before it all, was in a really good run. He's dragged his batting average up from 264 to 289 over a 45-game stretch and is hit in 33 of the last 38. Still has 24 steals and 10 triples despite a lot of gimpiness of late.
Got a bunt. Oh, David normally a very good bunter, but not always a sacrificer. He's good for bunting for a hit, and he was trying to sacrifice, and if you were watching that closely, you saw he made a cardinal error. He didn't really get the head of the bat out in front, and he fouled it. No balls and 2 strikes.
And again, Hulse was not supposed to be in the lineup, as Greg told you earlier. He was a very late insertion into the 8 hole. They moved Doug Strange, who was scheduled to hit 8th, up to number 2 to replace Reedus.
No balls and 2 strikes. David slaps it foul past Dave Oliver. And there are a number of extra photographers lined up along the sides of the barrier, keeping the box seat patrons from the field. And there you see them. It is a big night. There are a lot of freelance photographers that are working tonight and today, because there are a couple of big sporting events Norm mentioned, both going on here, and they're always very fully staffed.
Yeah. and a rematch of the Super Bowl champions just across town, basically.
No balls and 2 strikes to David, and he takes it inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Greg, I say this in all honesty. I listened to some of the radio sports talk shows this morning, and for the first time since I've been a reporter in this market, I heard people call and say, "How the heck with the Cowboys? They've got 14 games left this year. We're going to go out and see Ryan play. watch him on TV."
1 ball and 2 strikes. Palmer goes. Swing and a miss. The throw from Harper is not there. Does he stay on the base? Yes! Stolen base.
Boy, Dean has had a lot of trouble with oversliding. He got called out on an overslide the other night. Would have gotten called out at third when he overslid later in Friday night's game, and almost got called out here for oversliding.
He grabs it, and he just holds on. Although, to be honest, I'm not quite sure how John Hirschbeck could tell.
No, I don't think John could either. I think that was the, I have to see it to believe it.
Well, here's a good person to have on with a runner in scoring position, Mario Diaz. Has he been doing the job? He started now 4 straight games at short, 7 for his last 12. His average has gone up 20 points. He fouls the ball into the stands.
You know, with all the other awards, I'm certainly not fucking the baseball ad awards, but shouldn't there be an award for you got that kind of production from him of the year award?
No balls and a strike. See the quote in the paper, Tom Kelly, he said on the Twins bench yesterday, Mario doing all this damage in this series, they were all saying, Manny who? It's on the Twins bench.
That may be a little closer to the truth for Manny than he wants to realize also. Mario keeps playing like this, Manny's going to have a hard time getting minutes.
Here's the 1-1. There's his strike. Took a little bit off. Took it right down the pipe. One other thing that has made Mario so effective is he gets the bat on the ball. Now, certainly a .277 hitter means he doesn't always get hits, but I think he struck out, what, about 12 times.
In over 200 at-bats.
He's only walked 6, so, I mean, he does get the bat on the ball, literally. Usually. He just struck out for number 13. There's 2 outs.
On behalf of Mario, thanks for bringing up that strikeout stat,
That's
Greg.
exactly right. That didn't help him much there, did it? Today's game is being brought to you by Hooters, sporting good times for your friends and family at Hooters, home of the world's most famous wings. And Texaco System 3 gasolines in every grade. System 3 helps make a difference in your car's performance. Rob Ducey grounded out in the first. Runner at second base is Palmer. He singled, stole second, still there. Ooh. And there's a good pitch on the outside corner.
Ooh. Tapani's thrown some dynamite splitters this inning. It's funny, that pitch that we refer to as a split finger or a fork ball or a split fingered fastball, you can throw it at different speeds. Tapani uses it as a changeup.
That's a bloop foul back into the crowd. That was the favorite pitch of the man who really gained the most fame for throwing a fork ball. That was Elroy Face. That was what he threw in relief for the Pirates. He threw a fork ball, which was a changeup, which sunk and wasn't the later named split finger fastball, which had more speed on it.
That Suter popularized.
Yes. No balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, the split finger has undergone, forkball, split finger, what do you call it, has undergone a sort of a metamorphosis from a changeup off speed to a power pitch for people like Suter and Morris and Scott, and then back to, for Tapani, a really effective off-speed pitch.
1-2 pitch to Ducey. Stays off, and he's even in the count, 2-2. It's 1-1 here.
Well, this is the situation where Tapani, most pitchers go to curveball, fastball when they get even an account. Tapani will often go back to the split finger changeup in this situation and wear it outside.
Here's the 2-2 pitch.
There it is.
Left it high, and it was fouled back just into the upper deck right behind home plate. Obviously a pretty nice catch by the reaction of the fans.
Either that or a really good-looking person. Can't tell the difference sometimes.
Usually they're running down the aisles behind the box seats when they get the greatest reaction. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Palmer at second base. The game is even at 1.
There it is again.
3 strikeouts in a row after the base hit, and the 3 out of the 4 that he has struck out come in this inning. We played 2. It's 1-1. For his competitive spirit and dedication to excellence, Southwest Airlines proudly salutes Nolan Ryan. We are going to the 3rd. It will be the number 9 man in the Minnesota batting order in the top. Denny Hocking, the shortstop, Chuck Knobloch, the second baseman, and Rich Becker, the center fielder. Nolan Ryan has given up just 1 hit. He has walked 2. The 1 hit was a solo homer by Shane Mack. The game is tied at 1. Hocking takes a strike on the outside. Hocking, another one of these that Nolan will be facing, and will be facing him for the first time. His major league debut was in game 1 of the doubleheader. He played this season at Nashville at 267, pitches wide, with 8 homers, 50 RBIs. He started a little bit late because he broke an ankle in the spring. 1 ball and 1 strike. He's still got 107 games in at Nashville. One ball and 2 strikes. He joined us late. Detroit scored 6 in the first in their game in Chicago. They lead now 6-3, but they still are on top. The Rangers here even.
Good news is that game's gone to the top of the 4th, meaning Doherty got him out again in the bottom of the 3rd.
Once again, after getting 2 strikes, I'm not sure if he's trying to be too fine or he just not trying to throw it there, and it's just not finding the strike zone. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. And these Twins young hitters look like they know the strike zone pretty well. Here's the 2-2. Well, that one didn't take any thinking at all there. 3 balls and 2 strikes. There it is in the bottom of the, well, still top of the 4th according to scoreboard here in the Kansas City, New York game. Kansas City rolling on. We'll be popping these in throughout the day. Keep you even more updated than normal. That's fouled back. Still full.
And again, here's a Twins leadoff hitter making Ryan go 7 pitches deep in the count.
Temperature's actually gone up a degree since game time on the big board. It's 93 right now. Here's the full count pitch with the leadoff man. Slapped into left field for a base hit, and that's a memory that he'll remember because he's going to get a double. The outfield was playing shallow, and Hocking goes into second base on a ball that gapped. Not only were they playing shallow, they had the overshift on, and Gonzalez was way over more toward the line and couldn't get to that ball. It got out there quickly.
Seldom do you see a ball on grass do this, but when you see a ball hit on the line that hits the outfield grass and still gets up the gap, you know that ball was smoked. Hocking saying, how'd this guy stay in the major leagues 27 years with that kind of stuff?
Yeah,
he's
going to remember that he got a base hit off Nolan Ryan. Here's Chuck Knobloch now with a runner in scoring position. That's the tiebreaker. Knobloch has not had a good series. He usually does pretty well here. Hits the ball high in the air to right field. Runner at second tagging. This is short, though. Ducey makes the catch, and the fire across is right there. Oh, boy. Oh, that was a strike. It wasn't classic textbook because it was maybe a little high. There was no way in the world anybody cuts it, but if they're going to be on target like that, who cares? Look at his throw.
Greg, we've remarked over the last week and a half since Ducey's been here, this guy looks like he has really good tools.
Center fielder Rich Becker.
Hey, Greg, I got a question for you. Ryan's on a pitch count. He's struggling to throw strikes. You got a leadoff man on with a double, and Knobloch swings at the first pitch again. That's 2 first pitch outs. Knobloch's a very good player, but wouldn't you have a temptation to take one there or consider dropping a bunt or...
Well, there are 2 ways to look at it. The way you're looking at it, and also the way is that he's going to lay it in here because he doesn't want to walk me. He wants to get ahead of me, and apparently that's what the pitch looked like to Knobloch. He also wouldn't have mind hitting it to the right side as he did to get the runner to third. That was really his primary purpose. There's a swing and a miss. Rich Becker. Becker walked the first time up.
But Becker's got a swing like he's got a set of Walt Riniak batting tapes at home.
Yeah, doesn't he?
He's got the Riniak release and fly.
He led Nashville in runs, total base, triples, and walk. By the way, that's the Nashville Double-A team. There were 2 teams in Nashville this year. Off the end of the bat, tough play for Palmer. Got to use that arm, and it's good enough. Runner goes to third base now, and Hocking there, 2 outs. Here are Sherwin-Williams' leaders stat board, but we're looking at one leader. Nolan Ryan, all-time stats. 7 no-hitters, 12 one-hitters, 27 years, and of course the strikeouts, walks. He's going to face Kirby Puckett with a runner at third and 2 outs. He struck Kirby out the first time, struck him out into a double play as Becker was thrown out trying to take second base.
With Tapani looking like in the second inning he'd really settled in with his stuff. Important not to fall behind the Twins here.
I think the big thing, I think you're right, don't fall behind them, certainly by not more than a run or 2, because Tapani's not likely going to pitch a complete game. You get to the bullpen, you got a whole different set of circumstances, but you don't want to be too far back.
Well, and you sure don't want to get to the bullpen and have to try to beat Aguilera.
You don't want to get to the 9th in the bullpen and be behind.
No, even the 8th. Aggie's been well rested in this series, and if they had a chance to beat the Rangers today, you get a feeling Aguilera would come in here in the 8th inning to try to save it. And Aguilera has been like a cup of hemlock to the Rangers.
1 ball and no strikes to Puckett. Broken bat, Blue. Can Strange get to it? Yes, sir. That retires the side. No runs. A leadoff double. 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. Rangers have Strange, Palmeiro, and Gonzalez in this 1-1 tie.
Dixon enters the home run prediction contest.
Rangers coming up in the 3rd with a 1-1 ball game. It'll be the 2, 3, and 4 hitters against Frank Tapani, who gave up a leadoff hit to Palmer in the 2nd, but then successively struck out Hulse, Diaz, and Ducey. He has 4 strikeouts. Palmeiro, the other that he fanned in the 1st. Strange singled and stole a base and scored the Ranger run the first time up.
Greg, it's obviously an NFL Sunday, so we'll start slipping some final scores in for you. Phoenix has beaten Washington 17-10, and Mark Rippon damaged a knee. Left, and we'll get a report later on tonight. Preliminary prognosis, torn ligament.
Strange going to try to bunt. That pitch had been over the strike zone. That would have been a good one to drag because it was inside, but it was too far in, and it's 1 ball and a strike.
Giants bounced Tampa Bay around 23-7. Indianapolis beat Cincinnati 9-6.
That was the Indianapolis Indians of AAA and the Cincinnati Reds, their parent club,
yes.
right?
And Philadelphia goes into Green Bay and rallies for 13 fourth-quarter points to beat the Packers 20-17.
2 balls and a strike to Doug Strange, leading off the 3rd in a 1-1 tie. Bouncing ball to Knobloch at 2nd. 1 out. Reminder that today's game is being brought to you by Chevron, the only gasoline with Techroline. Chevron, simply smarter. Take time out to quench your thirst at 7-Eleven, your total beverage center with the best selection of already cold beverages in the variety and sizes you want. Oh, thank heaven for 7-Eleven. Palmeiro struck out his first at bat in the 1st. And he's going to be an easy ground ball victim here. McCarty, Tapani, 2 down.
Hey, Greg. This is looking a lot too easy, the last 4 or 5 guys that batted today.
Yeah, all of the stuff looks real good, and they just can't get the fat part of the bat on it. Here's Gonzalez, who got enough on it in the 1st inning to drive in a run with a single. It's 1-1. Well, you know, though, when you get down into the pennant race, your pitching staff is what has to hold up because those other guys, particularly when you go head-to-head with contenders, they're going to be on. The Rangers showed that in the doubleheader victory the other night with a 4-3 and 3-2 pair of wins. You just got to hang in close. And that's kind of what they did last night. They jumped out to a 3-0 lead, but then lost the lead 4-3. But they hung on close, came back and got the final 4 runs of the game.
Isn't it funny how all 4 divisions, the trackers are running down the leaders? Baltimore and the Yankees have been stalking the Blue Jays. The Rangers are stalking the White Sox. The Braves have stalked and caught the Giants, and Montreal's stalking the Phillies.
Bouncing ball, it's going to be like the old line that is used in other sports that, you know, just watch the last 2 minutes. Because it's getting that way, the way the teams that have the big leads are having trouble late. And it's primarily because someone else was getting red hot. That's the key. Early in the year, maybe no one else was hot at all.
Yeah, like they say at the racetrack, ooh, where's the finish line?
Staying alive, and he fouls it away. Gonzalez. We hope to have Juan as one of the 2 portions of Sports Talk tomorrow night. Tony Casillas would be the first portion with Norm, and then we'd have a conversation with Juan Gonzalez leading into the first game of the 3-game series with the Cleveland Indians. And that all gets underway tomorrow night. Sports Talk at 7.
That'll be Brown versus Mesa. We will also have Tuesday night's game. Our game in the bleachers is Rogers versus Clark, and our Wednesday night game is Leibrandt versus Ojeda.
High on the pitch, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Now again, this is where Tapani, even in the count, will sometimes pitch a little backward. He will go back to the split finger off speed.
Well, I think he'd go to that off, even if that was his other pattern against Gonzalez. Well, he missed wide, and it's 3 balls and 2 strikes.
He went to the curveball, a pitch, by the way, that Juan's been biting on of late.
Here, if you're the pitcher, you don't throw him a fastball. You throw him the split finger. You throw him the curveball away. You don't throw him a fastball, and Juan's got to be aware of it and make sure it's a strike. And it wasn't, and he struck out. That's the problem. 1, 2, 3 in the third. We go to the fourth. It is 1-1, Twins and Rangers. Heading to the fourth on Nolan Ryan Appreciation Day, as Nolan Ryan will work into his 4th inning. He'll face the man that did the damage against him, Shane Mack, with the solo homer in the second to tie the ball game. It is 1-1, and it still is from that point on. It'll be Mack, Harper, and Hale in the 4th. Twins have 2 hits, the homer and the double by Hocking. First pitch is low for a ball. It is very windy, and because of that, the dust that's kicking up around behind home plate in front of the dugouts, every half inning the ground crew comes out and waters down the surrounding area around the dugouts to keep the dust from blowing in. Here's the 1-1 and into the stands. High pop. Wind will take that one way out of play. There you see the jam-packed stands. Sellout last night, and 28,000 plus for the doubleheader Friday, and a sellout again today. Rangers will finally catch up with last year's attendance. Here's the 3-1, or 1-1, I should say. Foul into the crowd. Oh, was that one a shot?
You know, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, up until today, they were running a little behind last year's attendance, but they've certainly caught it now.
And you get a feeling with the pennant race the way it is, they'll go well past it. Has Mack hit some bullets during this series? Golly. He hit nothing but ropes in the doubleheader the other night.
He's been a good hitter, is a good hitter. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Chopper to the right side, backing on the high hop, getting a true hop. Doug Strange fires it across, 1 out. Normally that's risky to back up on the ball, but Doug got good hops. There are 2 outs, and Brian Harper will be the catcher. Will be the hitter now. He's popped into the glove of Strange his first time up. Harper, a .306 hitter coming into play. Strike on the first pitch. He has not been able to throw any base runners out in this game. Rangers have 2 steals, but he is a hitter. Backed off the curve that was high. Nolan Ryan heading down into the final last roundup. Waited on a change. Oh, that was foul, and not by much. He waited on a changeup, and he just about got himself a double.
This will be the 55th pitch coming up for Ryan. That's not bad with 1 out in the 4th for settling in. If they're going to go 90 to 100 at that pace, Nolan's got a chance to pitch into the 7th in this game.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Harper, who at one point this year had a 19-game hitting streak. Show you the kind of hitter he can be. Went for a bad one. Pop foul behind the plate. Rodriguez. Yes, 2 down.
Boy, that is 2 trips for Harper and 2 jam jobs.
Today's game is being brought to you by Desenex. Desenex kills athlete's foot fungi before it turns ugly, and by Gillette Sensor and the new Gillette series. Gillette, the best a man can get. Chip Hale, who walked in the 2nd inning, will get his 2nd look at Nolan Ryan. Hale, during the period he played at Portland this year, hit .280. That was in 55 games before coming up in June. Hey, this is what Nolan needs.
Yeah.
And Raffy always takes care of his man and makes the play himself. 1, 2, 3. Nolan Ryan, again looking back at his great career, starting out with the Mets. All even 1-1 here in Arlington Stadium on Nolan Ryan Appreciation Day. The man himself is on the mound for the Rangers as they bat here in the 4th. Franco, Rodriguez, and Palmer up against Kevin Tapani, who has been superb since giving up a leadoff single in the 2nd to Palmer. He has 4 strikeouts out of 6 outs. Nobody else has been on base since that point.
We talked about Franco earlier, saying he'd like to play 2nd base for somebody next year. Obviously, he's a free agent. He'd like everybody to bid for him. But he also said, this is interesting, you know, if the Rangers don't re-sign Palmeiro, if you want me to play first base, tell me so I can go to the Dominican Republic and play first base there in the off-season to get ready for spring training.
To be honest, he ought to be going there regardless and playing something other than 2nd base.
Yeah.
Foul back, 2 balls and a strike, 3rd base, 1st base. Those are the 2 that you come to mind.
Yeah, to be really blatantly honest about this, Julio wasn't a good 2nd baseman when he was healthy.
He had lost a lot of range. There's an update, simply the inning update, because it's still 6-3, and that is top 5.
By the way, that should not be construed to say anything about his bat.
No.
This guy can hit.
When we're talking about him as a 2nd baseman, we're talking defense only. There's a shot, and it's off the glove of Knobloch. He makes the play anyway. Chuck Knobloch staying right with it like a juggler. And there's 1 out.
Well, you're taught to keep it in front of you. And it took everything Knobloch had to keep this one in front of him.
Even had time to take a glance to see how much room and time he was going to have. Trick play, huh, Chuck? Here's Rodriguez, who flied to left, hit the ball high in the air with about the kind of wind we have now, which, if you look at the flags, is blowing toward left, but it's blowing so hard it's swirling. There's a drive towards center, deep. Becker, track, 2 outs. Here's the Coors Light upcoming Rangers schedule on HSE. Starting tomorrow through Wednesday, the Cleveland Indians will be in. Albert Bell and Carlos Baerga and company. Then a week from Wednesday, we'll be in Seattle to see the Mariners. That is the last game the Rangers play on that road trip before they head for Chicago, so it's a big one, and we'll be there for that one. Here's Dean Palmer with 2 outs. 1 ball and no strikes.
You know, the Rangers don't play many day games. Palmer has 10 homers in day games this year.
There has been a home run hit today, but generally speaking, the way the wind's blowing, you got to crush it. 1 home run that was hit today was hit right down the line. That was the home run by Mack. And the count goes to 2 balls and a strike.
Excuse me for thumbing through every note you have here, Greg. I'm trying to get the Rangers total in day games.
Oh, that page. Find that. I'm not sure if that page. That's a separate page today.
Yes.
Remember, everything ran over. We'll find it. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And there it is. Attaboy, Greg. Thank you. Cubs played 31 day games, and Palmer has 10 homers. Well, it isn't hard to project that out to about a 55-homer season if they played all-day games.
Well, let's see. The Giants play a lot of them. The Cubs play a lot of them, so maybe he might want to.
And Greg, he's got 36 runs batted in 31 day games.
It's foul ball. In this day game, he has 1 hit and a stolen base, single.
Don't ever trade this guy to the Cubs. That's amazing. In 31 day games this year, Palmer 10 homers and 36 runs batted in.
Oops, he forgot it was a day game. That retires the side.
Looked like he was in the dark there, didn't it?
As Tapani finishes with a strikeout, his second consecutive 1-2-3 inning. We played 4. It's 1-1 in Arlington.
Delta Airlines, official airline of the Rangers.
Mostly cloudy day with the sun coming through most of the time, however. Here's David McCarty leading off the 5th inning for the Twins. Ooh, he fouls that one off Rodriguez. Rodriguez was involved in McCarty's first at bat as he hit a ball out in front of the plate. Was called out for either running into the ball while it was in fair territory or interference, but he was out. And the put out went to Rodriguez. No balls and a strike. Well, he waited on that one, but he just bounced it to Palmeiro at first. There is 1 out. Join us at any Metroplex Bally's President's Health Club and receive a 2-week mini membership free. For more information, call 1-800-WORKOUT. Here's Norm now with the Bally's notes.
Seattle lefty Randy Johnson has 4 starts left, and he needs 38 strikeouts to become the 9th American League pitcher to reach 300 in season. Baltimore's activated pitcher Rick Sutcliffe, and they're saying that Sutcliffe will start in the bullpen, but could conceivably start a few games very late in the season.
If he's on target, he can be that veteran that can help them, although before he went out, he wasn't pitching very well.
A lot of that blamed on the knee that he had repaired arthroscopically about 3 weeks ago.
Stahoviak flied to left his first time. 1 ball and no strikes.
Meanwhile, hasn't Ryan just been terrific off the DL?
He's allowed only 2 hits. Unfortunately, one was a solo homer by Shane Mack. He's retired the last 7 that he has faced. But it's 3 balls and no strikes here to Stahoviak.
Across town, Carwell Gardner's taken a swing pass out of the backfield from Jim Kelly and scored. Carwell Gardner.
Who?
About a 250-pound boxcar that plays fullback for the Bills out of Louisville, I think. And they lead the Cowboys 7-0.
3 balls and no strikes to Stahoviak. There's 1. Stahoviak, if he looks big, it's because your television is adjusted properly. He is. He is about 6'5", weighs 210, but hasn't really shown huge power numbers in the minors. And he's on. That's the 3rd walk given up by Ryan. He has only 1 strikeout.
That is now 63 pitches for Ryan here with 1 out in the 5th. No, golly, with as nice and breezy a day as this is. Uh-oh, here comes Kennedy.
I wonder if he called him. Well, they also have to be talking about a possible bunt here, and that's...
You know, I don't want to be unkind to Nolan Ryan, who is a legend. But it has startled me the last year or 2 that people don't bunt Ryan more. How about you?
Yeah, he doesn't get off the mound as quickly as he needs to. And strangely enough, a couple of his last injuries have come fielding.
And Greg, if nothing more, you make him bounce around out there. You use him up a little bit more.
Well, they're looking for Hocking to bunt. He doubled the first time up. It's a hit and run. And a high pop bouncer to Palmer. The quick throw makes the play. Palmer made a nice play on that because he was coming in looking for a bunt, and then he had to backpedal and wait for that ball to finally come down. Meanwhile, the Rangers got hustle from their catcher and their shortstop. Both were covering third just in case.
Well, Palmer had the possibility of losing a ground ball in the sun there.
It's absolutely true. Well, Tom Kelly figuring they're looking for us to bunt, so we're going to chop the ball with a guy who can handle the bat a little bit, Denny Hocking. Second base, Stahoviak now with 2 outs.
You know, if Hocking had hit that ball a little harder, Greg, that would have scored a run. If it hops over Palmer's head and rolls down the left field line with the runner on the move, that wasn't very far from a big-time play for the Twins.
Here's Knobloch, who is 0 for 2.
Swing at the first pitch. No.
This time he saw it was a ball.
Nobbers jumped on the first pitch 2 times in a row. And again, the Twins jumping on first pitches here. Ryan only used 9 pitches last inning, and this will be the 9th pitch of this inning.
Again,
the
though,
10th pitch of this inning.
Again, though, he's got a runner in scoring position in a 1-1 game. Knobloch takes a strike on the bender. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Apparently there was no cause for concern when Kennedy went out to the mound because there's been no shuffling in the bullpen.
No, it must have been a strategy call because they were expecting the bunt. They wanted to be sure they were all together as to how they were going to play it. 1 ball and 1 strike. Overthrew that one, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Nolan, like most pitchers, would probably not have minded had Nolan Ryan Appreciation Day been a night at about 75 degrees. But didn't work out that way. 2 balls and a strike. Fouled into the crowd. It's even 2-2. It is amazing the number of people that were concerned about Nolan Ryan Appreciation Week during a week in which the Rangers were coming home in a pennant race. They better have one next time they come home because they haven't lost a game during Nolan Ryan Appreciation Week. A lot of distractions, huh?
Shoot, just pick somebody. Let's have a Mario Diaz Appreciation Week.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
Imagine you could work up some votes for Rafael Palmeiro or Juan Gonzalez Appreciation Week around here.
The last homestand is pretty much Stadium Appreciation Week, as it will be the last homestand ever.
What a way for the old building to go out, huh?
2 balls and 2 strikes. That's fouled away. We told you the other day about the improvements they're going to have to make for the extra media and potential playoff and postseason media coverage and VIPs. Well, they're going to have to do that, and golly, if they don't actually use it, it would be like getting all dressed up for the dance and getting stood up in your best formal, and then your date doesn't show.
Yeah, but you got to understand, Greg, Rangers haven't even had a chance to go to the dance in September in the past. I mean, they didn't even know there was a dance most Septembers. And the
2 balls and 2 strikes.
Music drifted from afar.
There's a strikeout, a big one on Knobloch. Only Ryan's second, but when he needed it with a runner in scoring position, we have finished 4.5. The Rangers coming up in the bottom with Hulse, Diaz, and Ducey in a 1-1 game. Here's our Gatorade game summary. Nolan Ryan has gone 5 innings, 1 run, 2 hits. 1 was a homer by Shane Mack, 70 pitches. Shane Mack's homer is the Twins' only run. The Rangers' RBI by Juan Gonzalez on a single. That was back in the first inning. The Rangers have done little since. Dean Palmer had a base hit in the second. That is it since. Against Kevin Tapani, who will face David Hulse and Mario Diaz, who he struck out, and Rob Ducey, who he struck out the last time up. All 3 of them. And he doesn't get Hulse this time. David McCarty will flip to Tapani, and there's 1 out.
We've seen McCarty at first base for a handful of games right now, and boy, he does not look comfortable as a first baseman.
Mario Diaz.
Toronto with a 4-1 lead over California. That's a final.
By the way, final from the NFL. Overtime field goals by Morton Anderson of New Orleans wins for them at Atlanta 34-31. And Jason Hansen of Detroit wins for them in New England in 1916.
Diaz takes the first pitch for a ball. Kevin Tapani, in his 4th year in the major leagues, has a degree in finance from Central Michigan. Right side, Knobloch. He's making the Rangers chop it in the dirt or strike out, one or the other, and there's 2 down.
Greg, look at your score sheet since the leadoff single by Palmer. Strikeout, 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 dribbler to second, dribbler to first, strikeout, bounced hard to second, popped out to center, strikeout, bounced to first, bounced to second. Boy, it's been an easy 3+ for Tapani.
Here's Ducey, who has grounded out to second and struck out. He's done one of each. He's had the easy ground out and the strikeout. Tapani has 6 strikeouts. He's only walked 1.
Rangers don't have a hit since Palmer's nobody out leadoff hit in the second. They don't have a base runner since then.
Keeps throwing strikes, getting ahead. Tapani, Kevin Tapani. He was 16-9 for the Twins in '91, was Tapani. That's his best year, although he won 16 again last year. His earned run average was higher. 0-2.
Oh.
Foul ball, staying alive.
That was a I'm about to be out swing.
I better put wood on it. And that's exactly what he did.
Ducey with a really good job of getting just a tiny little piece there. But sometimes the best swings you make in an at-bat are swings in which you foul off a pitch that the pitcher makes, a good pitcher's pitch.
That's a fair ball. No, just outside the line. The hands come up from first base umpire Drew Coble, and Ducey will have to try all over again. He waited on the pitch well. No balls and 2 strikes. Just missed the line.
From the department of what I did in the offseason, remember when Tapani was involved in the big trade? He was part of the big package from the Mets to the Twins for Frank Viola.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, when you're a kid in the major leagues and you don't know if you've got a future there, you take anything you can. That offseason, he spent the holiday loading packages for Federal Express in Bloomington for Christmas, saying he was happy to get the $8.50 an hour.
Well, his regular season money hadn't kicked in yet, and he was ready for the future, perhaps. That's fouled away, a little inside out. Looper down into the stands again.
Tapani said, everybody at the job said, hey, wait a minute, you're a Major League Baseball player. What are you working here for? And he said, hey, I'm just like you. I need money.
The only difference is, like you, I get a lot during the season, but I must have spent it all. There's no balls and 2 strikes. 1-2.
Tapani, originally a second-round pick of Oakland. He spent 2 years in that farm system. Good heavens, Kansas City annihilating the Yankees, if you saw that score flash in there. And then he was traded by Oakland to the Mets along with Wally Whitehurst and Jack Savage for Jesse Orosco. And then 2 years later, moved on to the Twins in that big package of 5 people for Viola.
Another job of staying alive, another foul ball souvenir.
You know, the Twins made a great trade for Viola. I think you'd have to say that. Now, Viola's a quality pitcher, but in return for Viola, they get this guy who is the ace of their staff, and Rick Aguilera, who's the ace of their bullpen, along with 3 other pitchers, all of whom pitched in the big leagues.
Ducey takes that one low.
Tim Drummond, Jack Savage, and David West, and right now, David West is pitching so well. He's a key member of the Philadelphia bullpen. That was a good trade by the Twins.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on here in the 5th in a 1-1 ball game. Rob Ducey again stays alive.
It's a dynamite at bat for Ducey.
Rob, of course, actually came up to the Rangers when 2 things happened. Nolan Ryan went to the disabled list on the 29th of August, and David Hulse hurt his hamstring the 2nd time. Both of those things happening about the same time, and that's what Ducey, when he got the call. That's a foul ball. That didn't miss by much. He's trying both sides. He's tried the right side. He's tried the left side. But at least he's still there. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And he's making Tapani have to throw a few pitches in this inning. Something he hasn't had to do in the last 3. Rangers scored the run on a base hit by Gonzalez in the first, scoring Doug Strange, who had singled and stolen second. Shane Mack's homer provided the lone Twins run. We are at 1-1. There's a fly ball. He tried the center, but unfortunately skied it. Becker in center field. That retires the Rangers. We've played 5. It is 1-1 in Arlington. Some of the many fans here keeping themselves out of the sun.
Boy, I wish I had a hat like that.
Well, I'm sure if you went out there, they might give you one.
Sure, if I went out there, they might pay me to take it.
6th inning, Twins and Rangers. It'll be Becker, Puckett, and Mack. Nolan Ryan on the mound, but there is beginning to be some activity in the Ranger bullpen. So you'd have to think that he probably told Claude Osteen and Kevin Kennedy, I'll give it a shot here. Whiteside is pitching. I'll give it a shot here, but you better have somebody ready. And certainly after this inning, that's probably it for me.
He starts the 6th at 70 pitches, which is not a terribly high count for Ryan through 5 innings.
But it's 93 degrees, sunny, and not cool out there.
Yeah, and this is a guy who hadn't pitched in 3 weeks.
Becker takes the pitch outside. Becker has walked and bounced to third baseman Palmer.
In fact, Greg, we were marveling before the game about how little Ryan has pitched, period, this whole year.
Well, he's only averaged about 5.3 innings per start, and he's only started, this is the 11th.
I mean, Ryan has only given the Rangers 53 innings coming into today's game.
It's in 10 starts. This is his 11th. 2 balls, no strikes. There he got him with a big strike. 1 ball, 2 balls and 1 strike. San Francisco,
Boy,
has to now catch Atlanta. Because Atlanta is the hot team.
by the way, that kid pitching for San Diego today, Sanders, there are some people who've seen him and really like him. A lot of people think that that game, by the way, is bottom 6. A lot of people think San Diego's got the makings of still a pretty decent baseball team if they stabilize for next year.
Leadoff walk, not good.
No. And with action in the bullpen, you already know the tentative nature of Ryan starting the 6th. So Kennedy has got to have a feeling of just how short the leash is right now.
It may be already reached the end. Kennedy is coming out slowly. Oftentimes, now he did once before, and it was a strategic move. And with Puckett hitting, you don't expect this to be a strategic move. I think Roland's considering the possibilities here that.
Well, the one thing Kennedy said he appreciates about Ryan is that Ryan's a guy who'll tell him the truth when he goes out there.
Well, the truth was, I'm okay. I hope.
Well, and you remember the complaints of the previous manager here about he'd go out to the mound and Whit would say, oh, yeah, I'm okay. Other pitchers, other young pitchers would say, oh, no, I'm fine, I'm fine. And then you'd go back and he wasn't fine.
Well, the tale will be told here with Kirby Puckett.
Now, this is going to sound like a strange comment, but look out for the possibility of a bunt here by Puckett. He's bunted for a base hit in this series already. And I don't mean a sacrifice bunt. I mean an attempt to bunt for a base hit by the Puckster.
There's a foul ball into the crowd. Palmer is not playing him as deep at third as he would if you were in a situation where you were pretty sure he wouldn't bunt. As you can see, he's right on the cut. Now, he may drop back a couple of steps.
Yeah, that's what he did last pitch. He stood there, and as Ryan, see, there you go. Back another step, another. Yeah, he's pretty well back.
No balls and a strike. moving forward on the pitch, and the swing and a miss as he threw heat. No balls and 2 strikes.
Real heat. Oof.
They are now to the top of the 7th, and the great thing about that is you can breathe easy because you know Chicago can't score while Detroit's batting.
And you know one other thing. Detroit has a terrific closer in Henneman if they can get to him.
0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. One over his head. Puckett goes down, and that is strikeout number 3. There's 1 out.
You know what's funny? The Twins have 5 of the rawest looking kids you can imagine in the lineup tonight. And the worst looking hitter without any question in a whole game is Kirby Puckett.
That's absolutely right. Nolan had to be thinking, thank you, Puckster.
Yeah. That's 78 pitches for Ryan.
Well, he got him with heat. He didn't mess around with curveballs and changeups. Here's Mack. Homered and grounded out. Grounded here would be nice. Runner goes at first. Hit and run. Rodriguez throws. Sails. And it's deflected and stopped by Diaz. Oh, my. Oh, that was lucky, but it sure was nice.
Well, it was lucky because Mario was hustling. Now, it's not his cover. Obviously, it's strange. But once the batter doesn't swing, the other infielder who's not covering, his job is to get over and back up. And look at this. I'd have never thought of playing a bank shot there, would you?
Got off to a 45-degree angle. That was flat-out luck. However, it is a stolen base by Becker. We told you he's got nice speed, and he stole 29 in the minors this year. He's in scoring position now for Mack.
Greg, in the Cowboy game, Kevin Smith intercepted a ball inside the 30-yard line for the Cowboys to set him up in terrific position. And Lynn Elliott missed a field goal. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Lynn, whose job was really shaky to begin with.
2 balls and no strikes to Mack. He has the 1 RBI. He can give the Twins the lead. Swings and misses.
And it, again, looked like a little bit of a bad ball, but not nearly the kind of, my goodness, pitch that Puckett swung at a couple of times.
Puckett has struck out twice on bad ones. In fact, Ryan has only struck out 3, and Puckett has swung at bad ones both times. 2 balls and a strike to Mack. 3-1. 2 good hitters here that Ryan would have to face to get out of the inning and perhaps keep the game tied. He's got Becker at second base, and then Mack and Harper, the hitters here. Fouled away. It's full. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Here comes pitch 83 or 84 of the game for Ryan.
Yeah, I think no doubt this is the last inning. He wouldn't start another one, but hopefully he can finish this one and it'll still be a 1-1 game. Rangers get a run for him maybe in the bottom of the inning and really celebrate Nolan Ryan Appreciation Day. There you see the on-deck hitter Harper. I don't know if it means anything, but the White Sox have another pitcher in the game.
McCaskill probably took him from the 1st to the 7th, and they probably just went to another guy.
3 balls and 2 strikes. Still full.
Greg, the wind here today is very, very high, and it's whipping stuff all over the park. And if you look where the trash collects, you can tell where the trash winds up in this stadium. It winds up in right field in the corner. There's Ducey, and look at the garbage all flocking toward him. We know where not to buy tickets in this stadium on a windy day, Greg. Right around the right field corner. Yuck.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Walked in. Now you have to make a decision. You would think he's walked 2 in the inning.
And he's into a 15-pitch inning already. There are 2 kinds of fatigue in baseball. One of them is a total pitch fatigue, and sometimes you get into an inner inning fatigue for a pitcher.
Whiteside has thrown enough.
And I was just about to say, Ryan is approaching both, by the way. Boy, this is hard on Kennedy and Osteen. Ryan's pitching well. You want to see him get out of this. It's his day. But on the other hand, Tapani's throwing dynamite. Falling a run or 2 behind him could be just sheer death, and you got a shot at picking up a game in a pennant race. Hard decisions for Kennedy.
He's gotten Harper on 2 weak pop-ups. But he falls behind 1 ball. Well, he's walked 5 and struck out 3. There's a shot. Center field coming on. David Hulse makes the catch. Throw to second base is not in time. They almost got Becker being a little lazy at second base on that line drive to center. David Hulse is there. 2 outs.
Hit like a bullet by Harper. And the misery for the Giants continue. The Cardinals have gotten 2 in the 3rd. They continue to hit against the Giants ace John Burkett. Atlanta's taken an early lead, and boy, if the bleeding doesn't stop soon in San Francisco, they're going to die of hemorrhaging.
Chip Hale will be the hitter. Hale has walked and bounced unassisted to first baseman Palmeiro. By the way, the pitcher is De Leon is in for the White Sox. That was the pitching change. Hopefully, this will be the last man that Ryan will have to face, and he gets him. There's a strike. That's the way to start it. No balls and a strike. Montreal beating Cincinnati 3-2, so the Expos continue to put some heat on the Phillies, who did lose to Houston 9-2. That just was posted.
Hey, Greg. Remember Dennis Martinez refused to trade from Montreal to the Braves? Now he may pitch against the Braves in the playoffs if they run down the Phillies. Would that not be weird? Well, he was the starting pitcher in that game.
Would the Montreal front office look like accidental geniuses? No balls and 2 strikes. The Rangers fans want Chip Hale to finish this outing by fanning. Runners go. Foul back to the screen as he's defensive on the 0-2. The runners were going. Whoa. 0-2. 2 outs and the runners go. Now you see that a lot with a man only at first, but you never see it. I mean, here's one of the theories you can use there. Hey, the hitter's in the hole. If Rodriguez makes a bad throw, we can score on that play. That's true, but the problem is, you know, if the hitter has to protect them, because if Ryan throws a ball, Rodriguez can throw somebody out. And it's tough to have to protect people 0-2.
Well, maybe it was just 2 separate situations.
May have been.
In other words, runners are told to run. Hale is told, do whatever you want. If it's a bad ball, it's a steal attempt. If it's a good ball, you've got to swing.
That's right, and if it's a bad ball and a steal attempt, you're running into a pretty good arm, but turned out moot. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
What's even more strange about that is you'll see that play sometimes with a right-hand hitter at the plate, but not with a lefty where the catcher has a straight shot to throw to third.
Foul back.
Bad ball. And a guy with a transistor radio in one hand, his yogurt spoon in his mouth.
There he is. All that happened was his earplugs went off his ears. That's about all. He's ready.
He is ready.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Runners at first and second in a 1-1 game, top of the 6th.
Well, Ryan's hit 90 pitches, and this was supposed to be right about the length of his outing.
Letting Rodriguez go through the signs again, getting some breath here. Wouldn't this be a spot for one of those patented Nolan Ryan high heats?
Either that or the nice circle change that fades away from Hale.
Heat throwing the, well, if he really got the spot with it. He missed with it. It was wide, and it's 2-2. I think there isn't any tension in the bench area. There's certainly a lot of tension among the fans in the stands, and certainly watching and listening around Ranger territory.
And they see the scoreboard. That's Jack McDowell being beaten in Chicago.
2-2 to Hale. It's ball 3. And again, Ryan had him, and he's losing him. That's the one problem Nolan has had here with these pesky young Twins, the Hales and the Stahoviaks and the Hockings and the Beckers.
Isn't it strange that when you really think about it, the guys that have shown the most impatience today are Puckett especially, and behind him Knobloch.
Becker, a rookie, has walked twice. Hale, a rookie, has walked once, and he's got a 3-2 count. Stahoviak, a rookie, has walked once. Hocking, a rookie, has doubled and grounded out. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Runners will be moving. An extra base hit could be disastrous. Bouncing ball up the middle. It is stopped by Strange. He rights himself to the plate. Rodriguez makes the tag, but not in time. It's a base hit. The run scores.
And another rookie gets a hit to drive in a rookie.
He hurt himself. As you can see, Becker hurt himself coming to the plate. Strange's throw was high, and that did not allow Rodriguez to have a chance to make a tag. It's a 2-1 game.
Boy, it took some nerve down at third base by the coach Ron Gardenhire to send him, because a good throw here and the runner is out. But the throw is very poor from Doug. It's high and up the line.
Here is David McCarty, who has been out on interference and grounded out.
Greg, we're at almost a 25-pitch inning here, and you're in a very dangerous spot with Ryan. A mistake here, and you're multiple runs down to Tapani, who's really got great stuff.
Real problem again, pitching with a 3-2 count. A, the runners are going. B, Strange has no force at second base, which he would have had there only been less than a 3-2 out.
You're exactly right. That was a run because Ryan got to 3-2 in the count.
Yep. 1 ball and no strikes to McCarty. Crowd is silent as Ryan goes 2 balls and no strikes. Boy, they want to see him finish this inning, but he just can't allow another base runner of any kind. Walk, hit. Two balls and no strikes. Well, at least folks in Chicago have been complaining about this heavily rookie lineup for the Twins. Better be quiet. There's a swing and a miss. 2 balls and a strike, because it's the young guys that have produced here the run that has put the Twins on top. Rangers hope that it doesn't hold, of course.
This is the only young guy in this lineup who's not hurt Ryan today, McCarty. All the others have hurt him. Becker, Hale, Stahoviak, and Hocking have all nicked him.
2 balls and a strike to McCarty. Went fishing, and it's 2-2. Now you gotta put him away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. If you can make that pitch with 1 strike, you gotta make it with 2.
Field goal by Christie of the Bills. 10-0 Buffalo.
Well, explains why I haven't heard any cheering in the stands at odd times today.
Been very, very quiet in the stands for those who brought TV sets with them. Boy, will there be some yelping.
Here's the 2-2 pitch to McCarty. Fouled away. Boy.
Imagine the odds you could have gotten if the Cowboys lose today and somehow the Rangers pull this out. Imagine the odds you could have gotten as we drift toward mid-September for sports fans in the area saying, well, at least we've got the Rangers.
Oh, boy. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. A crucial situation here in the 6th. By the way, looking ahead, How about strange Palmero Gonzalez coming up for the Rangers in the bottom of the inning? Getting out of this one is Prime, however. Missed again. It's ball 3. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
And there's that count again, Greg. Here's the situation that created the run. The runners get to go here. Your force plays are off. And a ball knocked down or smothered like Strange did may score another run. Mack at second base has very, very good speed.
Rangers do not, one thing that's interesting, Rangers do not have a left-handed pitcher up, and if they would elect to make a change after this, Stahoviak is a lefty. So they wouldn't go lefty-lefty.
And so's Hocking, isn't he?
He's a switcher, I believe. Runners go. There's a shot, left field, base hit. 1 run will score, maybe 2.
Maybe 2.
2 runs will score on this play as Gonzalez gets it in the corner, going into second base. Boy, a late move at third base by Hale, and the Rangers now trail 4-1. Oh, boy.
Yeah, well, remember we talked about inning fatigue for a pitcher. Once you get into that 25 pitch zone, you can get badly hurt. And that one, badly hurt. But let me go back to the comments you made to the last 2 hitters, Greg. The full count is what really hurt in each of those situations.
Well, Ryan is finished, but the Rangers hope they aren't. They are down by 3. Ryan will be coming off the mound to a standing ovation. You see a shot of a man with great appreciation for the crowd, but not happy that they had to applaud him at this point. We've got a break. Time to take a look at our career stat note from Nolan Ryan. He set a major league record with his first appearance this year. What was it? We'll tell you the answer after this. What was Nolan's major league record with his first appearance this year? About 27 major league seasons. Well, he is finished now. You can tell he's very disgusted because he was 1 pitch away from 2 hitters of getting out of the inning with no run scoring, but he couldn't get that final pitch past either Chip Hale or David McCarty. And instead, it's a 3-run inning. McCarty with a double at second base and Whiteside pitching to Stahoviak. Strike 1.
Matty wears on his back the number of years Nolan Ryan pitched in the major leagues, 27. Matty's been good lately. Matt encountered a dead arm period when he may have been a little bit overused earlier in the year. Went to Oklahoma City. Last couple of times out, Greg, he's looked about as good as he's looked all season.
He was very strong in the second game of the doubleheader. He went 1 inning perfect.
In fact, he went both games of the doubleheader.
Yeah, second game was perfect. First game was 1 1/3 innings perfect. 1 ball and a strike. Let's see, what did he face Stahoviak anywhere? Oh, he sure did. He struck him out. First man he faced. 1 ball and a strike.
In the Rangers' 6-game win streak that is current, though they're trailing right now 4-1, Ranger relievers have come in with a total of 13 runners on base over the last 6 games. None of them have scored.
Well, the Rangers have some rallying to do. 1 run wasn't going to be enough anyway to win it.
Boy,
so if they're going to get 2, you might as well get 5 or 6.
You get into the Tapani-Aguilera combination, too.
Swing and a miss, and twice he's faced Stahoviak. Twice he's fanned him, but it was unfortunately 2 hitters too late for the Rangers. As 3 runs score in the 6th, and the Rangers bat in the bottom of the inning, trailing by 3. Guy in the center is Steve Tennyson, a busman's holiday. He quite often runs camera here, but he couldn't stay away. It's time for our trivia question. The first person with the correct answer receives Who Was the Amazing Emu? 5-1 Texas Ranger trivia questions and a copy of the audio cassette Memories of Arlington Stadium. There it is. Nolan Ryan has struck out 9 of the current American League managers. Name the 5 he has not struck out. First person with the correct answer, 277-0779, 277-0004 is the winner. Got Munoz in the outfield now?
Yeah, Munoz in left. Mack has moved to center because of the injured ankle to Becker suffered on the scoring play.
And the Rangers will have Strange, Palmeiro, and Gonzalez. Well, maybe Tapani, well, you can't say he froze up, not on a 94-degree day, but maybe something went wrong with him sitting in the dugout that long. 1 ball and a strike.
Yeah, all the normal phrases you can't use. Maybe he got cold, maybe he got stiff, you know.
Don't forget, following the game, the Nolan Ryan ceremonies, we are staying on straight through, and you'll get to see all of the ceremonies, all of the Hall of Famers and names from Nolan Ryan's career that will be here on Nolan Ryan Appreciation Day. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Strange has singled and grounded out.
A Tiger White Sox game has gone to the bottom of the 8th.
All the scoring in the first inning. Strange fans. Ball dropped by Harper. He had a bad at-bat again. He's having trouble with that split finger going away from him. He's looking very bad on it. There is the first out.
Well, he's certainly not alone in having trouble with the split finger. That is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strikeouts out of the last 13 outs for Tapani.
7 all told. He got Palmeiro for the first one in the first. Palmeiro has not looked good against him. He has struck out and hit a weak ground ball to McCarty at first.
Boy, the Tapani pattern remains absolutely intact. Get to 2 strikes and throw that off-speed splitter.
Very strong. That pitch is a strike just on the outside corner at the knees. Now the setup is inside. Too much.
You know, Greg, I would be tempted, having seen Tapani today, I'd be tempted to go to a right-hand lineup against him. How about you?
Well, he's given the left-handers a lot of trouble. There's another one toward the hole, but McCarty has plenty of room. Tapani on the cover. That's almost a carbon copy of the last at-bat for Raffy. And here's the discouraging thing, too. Yes, Tapani is a fine pitcher, and yes, Tapani's had some great years. He hasn't had a great season this year. His earned run average coming into this game, 4.84. But he has pitched well lately, and that's really what counts, because you can use the same numbers against Kenny Rogers.
That's exactly right. Earned run average is a wonderful thing to judge a pitcher on. But if you have a 3 or 4 game stretch where you're horrible, it skews the entire season statistically. I'll tell you another guy whose earned run average is like that, Greg. Gene Nelson, the reliever the Rangers just got. He had one horrible outing earlier in the year.
Yeah, but you know what it is now? It's only 2.9 something. He really got it down. This is fouled back into the stands.
Well, that's what I'm saying, that when he got here, his earned run average was 3.08. Well, if you take that horrible outing away, it was down near 2. He's pitched brilliant baseball, and the earned run average suggested, oh, he's having a pretty good year, when in actuality, he's having a terrific year.
2 outs in the 6th. Gonzalez singled and drove in the Rangers' only run in the first, then struck out in the 3rd. Plays off the pitch down this time. 1 ball and 1 strike.
To show you what Greg was talking about, Tapani's last 8 starts coming in. These are the number of earned runs he's allowed. 2-3-2, 3-2-3, 4-0. Well, that's a guy pitching great baseball.
Well, we got to give some clues. Think of players. Well, first of all, you're thinking of managers. You know the number of managers that have played in the major leagues, and try to think of the ones that either didn't play when Nolan did.
Well,
we're looking for 5.
One of them's in the home team.
One of them's not hard. That one, everyone should get that one, because he didn't play in the major leagues. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, there are several who didn't play in the major leagues who are just automatics, aren't they?
Well, there's one guy that played 1 year. It was a regular 1 year, but it was early. That ball's fouled back. 2 balls, 2 strikes, still the count. Rangers need something to get the crowd fired up so they don't have to resort to waving. Even though it would only make it a 4-2 game, a blast here would be nice. Nope, and a strikeout. Gonzalez slams his bat in disgust. 1-2-3. Tapani has the Rangers eaten out of their hands. Out in his hands. We have played 6. 4-1 Minnesota. Our fan cam is looking at hats. Not to buy any. Certainly not to buy any. But that's our fan cam look at the fans today. Barry's Camera and Video has a new location located at the corner of Cooper Street and Arbrook Boulevard across from the Parks Mall in Arlington. Remember, at Barry's Camera and Video, the expertise is free. Denny Hocking. We have a trivia winner, so thank you for participating, folks. We'll give you the answers. First opportunity. Hocking bluffs a bunt, takes for a ball. Whiteside pitching now to start his first full inning. He struck out Stahoviak to finally end that 6th, in which 7 Twins batted. 1 ball and a strike.
Cowboys down 10-0. 2 minutes to go. Rams ahead 14-0 over Pittsburgh. Denver ahead 17-0 over San Diego, and the Jets ahead 14-7 over Miami. That's your late football rundown, NFL. All late in the second quarter.
Toward the gap, racing over for it is Ducey. It hangs up, and he reaches for it. He almost ran too far in front of it. As the ball carried out, but Ducey makes the catch.
You know, there was a tiny moment of panic there for Ducey. He held his hand up to Holt, saying, no, I got it. Maybe I don't have it.
Maybe I better get here.
He said, I got it.
That's 1 down here in the 7th. Knobloch, the hitter.
I don't think Ducey had any worry about Holtz coming over and getting that ball, do you?
No. There's a fastball strike to Chuck.
Boy, Matt Whiteside, Chris Carpenter, and Gene Nelson. If a couple of the Ranger lefties in the bullpen could get into form, this would be some bullpen when you figure Hankey's at the back of it.
2 key players, and there's one of them, Whiteside, that looks like he's gotten his second wind. And the other one is really Diaz at shortstop after, in Diaz's case, illness. And in Whiteside's case, a lot of work. There's Diaz. Let's see about that second win. Windy enough. 2 down. Pedro Munoz is in for Becker, who was injured coming around to score that tie-breaking run in the 6th.
Munoz, remember the 22-inning game the Twins played with the Indians on August 31st? He won it with a home run, but he did not start that game. He was jerked out of the lineup the day before for not running out. A hit.
Fly ball. Oh, Ducey saying, I think I don't have to move. That retires the side. 1, 2, 3. 7th inning stretch time for the Rangers. Franco, Rodriguez, and Palmer. The Rangers need some offense. They trail by 3. This was the Rangers, and you know the funny thing, did you pose for that, Norm? That's pretty accurate as I look over there.
If I'd have drawn that, I'd have made the nose a little larger.
Oh, okay. 7th inning stretch time brought to you by 7-Eleven. Oh, thank heaven for 7-Eleven.
The Blue Jays have it back on track. Dave Stewart beats Chuck Finley 4-1 Toronto. Meanwhile, the Red Sox slaughter the Indians 11-1 for the first major league win in his first start for Nate Minchie in Milwaukee. The Mariners got 2 in the top of the 8th. This is 4-4 in the 9th. Kansas City pounds the Yankees for Tom Gordon. Detroit takes that 6-3 lead to the bottom of the 7th, and tonight it's Darling and Moyer. Oakland visits Baltimore.
I do note that Detroit has changed pitchers in the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, that's right.
That is maybe Henneman. Let's see, 48. Nope. Storm Davis. Julio Franco leads it off here.
The Storm Davis situation, Greg, he enters with men at 1st and 3rd and 1 out in the bottom of the 8th.
That's curving toward the line. Will it stay fair? Yes, right on the chalk. Franco will have an extra base hit as the Rangers' 7th has begun. Rangers started, and of course what's important here is with a leadoff man in scoring position and down by 3, you've got to figure out a way to get him in.
Ooh, a chalk shot.
Right on top of it. Rangers' job here is it would be nice to tie it with 3 in the inning, but you've got to take advantage of what's there because you've still got 2 innings to play. The Rangers have to get back in it here, trailing by 3. Rodriguez is flied out and lined out. He's hit the ball pretty well, but this time it'll be handled at third by Stahoviak, and they don't get the runner to third. That was not a good job that time because, again, as we say, the job is to get that runner in. You've got 3 innings to do it.
The interesting thing, though, Greg, for a young pitcher like Tapani is what he did on that ball. Knowing that Rodriguez would be anxious to drive in a run, he starts him off changeup away, and the only thing you can do with a changeup away if you try to pull it is exactly what Rodriguez did.
If you try to pull it, that was the mistake, though. That he should have been looking for anything away to go to right with, and he got him. Here's Palmer, who is singled and struck out. What would have been an interesting pitch would have been to throw him something in that he could not possibly hit to right field or without major adjustment. There's Franco in scoring position. They're getting some activity in the bullpen for the Twins.
Now, if you're the Rangers, you're hoping to get Tapani out of here this inning.
By the way, good news. No problem in the bottom of the 8th. They go to the 9th. It is still 6-3. Chicago did not score.
I've always liked Storm Davis. By the way, he is resurrecting his career in Detroit. He's doing a really good job for them out of their bullpen.
1 ball and 1 strike. This would be a nice spot for Dino to show some of that daytime expertise. Would get the Rangers back within a run if he could unload one. 1 ball and 2 strikes. He's down on the count. Tapani has allowed the Rangers only 4 hits, and that double by Franco, the only extra base hit. And the first hit since Palmer's single in the 2nd.
Lynn Elliott hits from about 44 yards. 10-3 Buffalo at the hat. Oh, that's it. Greg, there's that same pitch. There's that split finger change that backs up, and he uses it. He actually backdoors Palmer here. That, ladies and gentlemen, that is a fabulous pitch by Tapani. Look at this. Young Sanders is sticking it to Avery and the Braves.
Well, the Rangers have failed to get the runner in so far from second base after the leadoff double. Here's David Hulse. This, I'm quickly scanning down through the list. 9 strikeouts. That's the most Tapani has had in a single game this year. One ball and no strikes. Previous high was 8 against Chicago in a loss.
What would be interesting here is if Hulse could get on, Diaz would represent the tying run. Now, that would have been an absolute certain pinch hit for Diaz situation before this year, but it certainly isn't anymore.
Well, Hulse is 1 pitch away from doing it. Now, David knows the strike zone. He ought to be able to work here and get 1 ball out of this at bat. Now, Diaz is coming back. It is going to be a pinch hit situation. But Peltier's not really a long ball hitter.
No.
But it's a percentage move because they have a right-hander warming up and a right-hander on the mound, so they know it's going to be a right-handed pitcher. And David is on.
And to be frank, Diaz did nothing with Tapani. He looked very, very bad against him in 2 at-bats.
Peltier's a good contact hitter, so he's got a good chance of at least getting 1 run in with a base hit. But he has not been a power hitter. Now, Tom Kelly, of course, with no left-hander warming up, if he wants to make a change, he doesn't have a percentage advantage, and I'm not sure if he's not going to just sit there and watch on the front step. No, here he comes. Now, let's see. Boy, I'll tell you what, this could be working in the Rangers' hands if they make a change. I know Tapani may be getting tired, but
yeah, please take him out. Yeah. If you're in the Ranger dugout, you're saying, make the move, make the move.
This is just a soul-searching situation, possibly, but I'm not sure. Kelly doesn't do that a lot. A lot of times he goes in, he's made up his mind. Carl Willis, the veteran, would be the man, and he's going to be the man.
Wow. Wow.
Now, don't forget, you've got a pitcher who's been very tough on you out of here, and the Rangers still have 1 out plus 2 innings to work with.
On the other hand, let me tell you about Carl Willis. In his last 28 innings, he's allowed 1 run. He and Cassian, what's really amazing, Greg, is if this club had gotten any kind of starting pitching, the year Cassian and Willis have had, they'd be in a dynamite situation setting up Aguilera. But the starters have been so bad, the game's over before they can get the bullpen in.
Here's our trivia question. Nolan Ryan has struck out 9 of the current American League managers. Name the 5 he has not struck out. The 5 are Sparky Anderson, Kevin Kennedy, Tony La Russa, Buck Rogers. Now, I missed that one when I was guessing earlier. And Buck Showalter. Maybe it's the Bucks.
Did you guess Kelly?
Not enough Bucks. Yeah, I guessed that one. The winner, Paul Bramlett of Fort Worth, and he receives the trivia book and the audio cassette. Well, here is Carl Willis, the big right-hander. Nice numbers. He's been used in situations like this. He was not good last season with inherited runners, which of course can help your earned run average. As an example, last year Carl had an earned run average of 2.72. Very good, but 42% of his inherited runners scored, which means those went to the other guy's earned run average. Rangers hope that that holds through here because the runners at first and second are not his, but the Rangers would be glad to have them score.
In 1991, Willis was 30 years old. He'd been bumped by 5 organizations in 5 years. He'd pitched only 6 games in the majors, and he was going to quit to become a physical therapist. But the Twins called him and said, would you go down to Portland and pitch? And Willis said, well, yeah, I'll go down there and give it one more try. And in mid-May, the Twins were ready to call up a guy named Tom Edens, but they called Russ Nixon, who was managing down there at the time at Portland, and said, Edens is the guy we should have. And he said, no, you should call Carl Willis up. I think he's got major league stuff, and he's been here ever since as a really solid bullpen pitcher. Gregson, from 91 to 93, Willis is 18-6.
Well, he's facing a man who, when he has played, has hit well lately. But he has not played much. Last 15 games that Peltier has played, 342. Rangers need just a safety here with 2 outs. Ball 1. Denny has not played lately because of the veteran abilities of Gary Reed and frankly some defensive shortcomings. 1 ball and no strikes. 287 overall with a homer and 17 RBIs. Strike.
Willis is a sinker ball pitcher, as you can see from the first couple of offerings here.
Peltier hit 5 home runs at Oklahoma City and a .321 average in 48 games before coming up. Almost a double clutch on that swing, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
There's that splitter. Willis, and it's the same pitch that Tapani was using so effectively, and Willis comes right out throwing a pitch that looks just the same as the one Tapani was throwing.
Peltier needs to think contact here with 2 outs, 2 on. Whoa, almost nicked him in the shirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The runner at second base is Franco, and David Hulse is at first.
Now, Willis is a guy who wastes his fastball a lot. He did that there, wasted the fastball. His out pitch is generally that splitter. There it is.
Got him. That was a perfect pitch, too. It dropped low and away, and Peltier fans as a pinch hitter. The Rangers strike out twice in the 7th. 10 times they have gone down without making contact. That was an excellent pitch.
Oh, brother.
And you don't hit that. We have
Nope.
played 7. It's 4-1 Minnesota.
Your attention, please. Today's total.
Twins coming up in the 8th with a 4-1 lead. Don't forget our next telecast will be pretty quick. How about tomorrow? Tomorrow at 7:30. It'll be the Cleveland Indians in. Kevin Brown will be on the mound for the Rangers. Sports Talk to precede. Tony Casillas and Juan Gonzalez will be the guests. There is the new shortstop for the Rangers, Jeff Hewson.
Now that's a surprise. That either means Manny Lee is really sick with the flu, or Manny has dropped a notch, a big notch in Kevin Kennedy's estimation. But again, he was sick with the flu.
Yeah, no balls and a strike now to Puckett, who has not been a factor offensively in this game. It's been all the little guys. Well, Shane Mack's not a little guy. Shane had a home run and scored a run after walking. But it's then the Chip Hales and the David McCartys. David's not a physically little guy, but he's still got to prove himself in the major leagues.
Look at this.
That's going to be toward the gap. Ducey coming hard, can't take it. Takes it on a bounce, and Puckett is on with a base hit leading off the 8th.
Puckett employing the hit 'em where they ain't theory.
First hit off Whiteside, who's gone an inning and a third.
The Tiger game against the White Sox has gone bottom 9, and the Tigers apparently are going to let Storm Davis try to close.
Well, he may find a whole new role for him if he can do it. He got out of a little bit of a jam in the 8th inning with runners on the corners and 1 out. Nobody scored. All the runs in that game coming in the first inning. 6 for the Tigers, 3 for the White Sox. Rangers, well, I guess you could say all the Rangers runs today came in the first inning. They've only got 1. Mack has homered. That came in the 2nd off Ryan, then walked and scored one of the 3 runs in the 6th off Nolan, which is the margin of the game right now. 2 of the runs that scored in the 6th walked.
Whiteside with a man on, nobody out, and falling behind, and the Rangers have the Cowboy Bob Patterson up and throwing.
It's one of the toughest things about managing. How long do you go with the relief pitcher? I mean, he's been extremely effective, but he worked in 2 innings. Is working in a 3rd inning too much? Is that past his length of, is that the Peter principle, basically, in baseball?
And remember now, this is a guy who got up in the first game Friday night, warmed up, pitched, sat down, got up, warmed up in the second game, came in and pitched Friday night.
2 balls and a strike. That's way off. 3-1. Starting to look like 3 is too many, because he had absolutely no control trouble in the 7th or to the 1 man that he faced in the 6th. 3 balls and a strike. Needless to say, the Rangers cannot afford to give up any more runs in this one if they want to have a chance.
Rangers have mixed Jeff Bronke in the right-hander.
That's a tough one. Strange knocks it down. He will have no play.
That's
probably an error, because he may have been thinking to make a play before he got to the ball.
It appeared he wanted to make the grab and spin move,
Enter Brian Harper.
and he simply doesn't feel the ball cleanly. Oh yeah, that's an error for sure.
I call it an error. They haven't done anything yet, but I bet they will now. E4. That's unfortunate, because it would have been an out at first base at the very least. It would have been a real tough double play. He probably shouldn't have been thinking about it with Mack running. Here's Harper now. Harper line to center.
He's never bunted for sacrifice this year, so this is certainly a situation for that.
Not doing it here either. Well, he must be one of these classic guys who can't do it in batting practice. 1 ball and no strikes. Puckett is at 2nd, Mack's at 1st, and so they don't even call on him to. Let's see, maybe they put a sign on here.
By the way, people don't know, when you come out to batting practice, the first pitch or 2 you're supposed to bunt for sacrifices against the guy who just lobs the ball up there. And when you see a guy who can't do it, then you're right.
Not doing it again. There's a strike. Nice pitch on the corner.
Look at Harper saying, wait a minute, it was way out there. Watch the left hand of Harper saying,
he's right.
It was out there.
And he's right. 1 ball and 1 strike. Foul ball.
Ooh. Matt Whiteside with a bad location mistake there. Rodriguez wanted the ball off the outside corner, and Matty hung a slider right up in the middle of the strike zone. The Rangers very fortunate not to get that one busted someplace.
One ball, and Al Harper now steps out. It is a final in Chicago. The crowd recognizes it, and that's what they're seeing, the hand around the stand. 6-3 Detroit. Well, at least something good will happen today. Rangers cannot drop any further back, and 3.5 just looks so much better than 4.5. But 2.5, you get the idea. Not too late for that if the Rangers can get something going. 1 ball and 2 strikes. They've got 6 more outs, but they've also got to make sure the Twins don't add to the lead. Bouncing ball, Palmer at third. Oh! He gets 1. That was hit awfully slowly, but he could have tried for 3 on that one because Harper's not a real speedy runner. If he could have fielded it clean, and you know he was thinking of that too.
Oh yeah.
That is a potential attempt at a triple play, but he couldn't get it.
Well, at the very worst here, you got a great shot at 2 and the 2 lead runners. Field, step on, where is it? I gotta get 1.
That's 1 out. And Chip Hale is the hitter now, with Rangers playing for a double play.
Yeah, here's the problem. Here come all the guys that have hurt today.
Hale had the infield hit, which untied the score. He hit the ball up the middle. Strange made a dive to stop the ball, but it was on a 3-2 count with runners at first and second, and because of that, the runners were moving with the pitch. 3-2 out, we might add. They were moving with the pitch, and he had no chance to get the force at second. Had it not been a 3-2 count, he might have been able to get the force at second. As it was, he made a throw to the plate that, had it not been a little high, they would have gotten the man at the plate. The inning would have been over. Ryan would have left the game with only 1 run. But. Hale has also walked in this game. No balls and a strike. Foul ball.
Meanwhile, the other pursuers in the West look like they're going to close in. Kansas City's bombarded New York, and that'll move Kansas City to within 6. And now realize the White Sox have to go into Kansas City next. And Seattle has just taken a lead in the top of the 10th, 5-4, and that would move the M's to within 7. But they've got 3 teams ahead of them with 3 weeks to go.
The 0-2 pitch. Shot. Palmeiro. There's 1, and that's it.
No.
Oh, he got there in time. Didn't think Whiteside would be there on the bag, and Houston made the throw right on target.
Boy, that's a classy double play.
Oh, Houston had to gamble somewhat because Whiteside just getting there in time to make the catch, and that retires the side. Let's take a look at it as we go out. No run score in the 8th. Rangers coming up, top of the batting order. Dallas Morning News, Sports Day front page news. It wasn't Ryan's day. Well, it was until 2 were out in the 6th, and then he gave up a couple of big hits, including David McCarty's 2-run double, and Nolan left the game trailing 4-1. That's the score right now. Catch all the action in Sports Day every day, only in the Dallas Morning News. Rangers have 2 chances to rally. Rob Ducey. That is exactly what we hope happens. All of us at HSE. Ducey, Strange, and Palmeiro. As you see, a skimpy hit total on the Rangers side.
Well, Greg, when did they get their 3rd hit?
Leading off the 7th.
It should be the 4th. Yeah, 4th hit they got leading off the 2nd. 3rd hit they got with nobody out in the 2nd. There was a gap in this game for the Rangers in the middle innings where Tapani just mowed this club down.
However, Willis is pitching now, although he got Peltier with a superb pitch to end the 7th. He's 2 balls, no strikes to Ducey. Ducey leading off the 8th.
You got to figure that Whiteside's finished for the game also. He did another good job here getting out of the jam that he inherited when Ryan left and putting 2 more zeros on the board. Nice pitch.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Ducey trying to work out the count as a good leadoff man should. Rob is 0 for 3. He's grounded out, struck out, and flied to center.
Greg, if you didn't know these were different pitchers, Willis looks like Tapani. I had the stuff.
McCarty at first base wins the race. 1 down.
Second baseman, Doug Strange.
A lot of soft defensive type swings for the Rangers. They're having to make adjustments as the ball is heading plateward, and they're not getting a lot of good swings. Here's Strange, who has singled and stolen a base, then grounded out and struck out. The last 2 times he was up didn't look good. That was against Tapani. Tomorrow night it's Jose Mesa against Kevin Brown in a 7:35 start. We'll be on at 7 with Sports Talk. No balls and a strike.
And while Willis is pitching superbly here, realize the Twins also have a wonderful closer should they need to go there, and that's Aguilera. Aggie's pitched against the Rangers 5 times in save situations this year, and he's 5 for 5.
Well, I would have to think we'll see him in the 9th, particularly since, as you pointed out, he hadn't worked for a while, and it is a save situation, assuming the Rangers continue to be futile. He'll pop up in the sky and drops in. The wind was really causing Hocking problem, and Munoz, quite frankly, didn't come in very hard to help out very soon. There's the wind. And Strange gets a single.
Well, Hocking, look at where Hocking is. Hocking looked like a pinball. That ball was actually, it hit maybe about 15 feet behind where Hocking was standing to begin with, and that wind really, really whipped that one around.
Son, this is major league wind.
Yes.
Oh, boy. Who were we just talking about a minute ago?
It's this guy, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's the guy.
The Aggie.
Almero up. Fastball on the corner. This is the part of the game where you wish the umpire didn't have a wide strike zone when you're behind. I guess you can't have it both ways.
Well, Rafi's had a struggling day, one of very, very few in the last few months. Struck out on a split finger and then 2 easy grounders to first.
Easy double play ball, perhaps. Oh, yeah. Well, they're going to have to do it the hard way, and they don't make it.
Boys.
Knobloch probably made a mistake on that for 2 things. And it was a great base running by Strange because he stopped dead in his tracks. You'll see a lot of runners run into that.
But see, when Knobloch failed in the fake, he should have taken the out at second there. Though to be fair to Chuck, he probably still felt he had some shot at Strange at second base.
That's why he hurried it. But you're right, because that would be an error. That would be a play that could really harm one if the lead was less than 1, less than 3. But Rangers do get another runner in scoring position. They have a couple of those here in the last 2 innings, but have not been able to get the base hit.
And again, a chance to shorten the lead a bit here. Boy, Willis is making some terrific pitches. Some nights it's simply hitters not hitting very well, Greg. Today, Tapani and Willis have just made some dynamite pitches.
Gonzalo singled in the Ranger only run in the first. Since then, he has struck out twice.
Oh, man.
On the fists, fouled back.
Have you seen a ball in the middle of the plate in about the last 5 innings? It's amazing how good Tapani and Willis have been in. First pitch at the knees, outside corner. Now look at the jam job here with the fastball. There's just no way to do anything with that ball. It's a fastball. It's on the corner, so it's going to be a strike, and yet the hitter can't handle it.
Yeah, Juan was upset because he thought he should have. He saw it coming into his power alley, but he was late. No balls and 2 strikes.
How about that splitter now, Greg?
Something down and low and away.
Yep.
Stayed with it. Drives it to center. Deep to the wall. And it is off the base of the wall. 1 run scores. Gonzalez at second base, and he'll hold there with a double. And the Rangers are back within 2. It's 4-2. Twins. And that was a good job of hitting as he threw the ball low and away, and Warren stayed in on it and got the ball off the wall, one bounce.
Now will Kelly go to Aguilera to close this thing, or will he let Willis face Franco? That was a terrific pitch by Willis, a wonderful fork ball in the outside corner, and Gonzalez just does a great job of hitting it.
And now the misplay, really the misdecision by Knobloch, has cost the Twins a run, because it's possible Strange could have scored from first on that with 2 outs, but it wasn't a sure thing, and he does score a sure thing from second base. And now here's Franco. Franco has a hit. He doubled the last time up, right on the chalk.
Well, what you regret now is not getting Franco in last inning.
He was at second base leading off the inning, and he never moved. Rodriguez swinging early in the count, bounced to third. Didn't get him to third. Then Palmer was called out on strikes on a super pitch. Hulse walked, and then pinch hitter Peltier struck out on a super pitch. Two balls and no strikes, and you look ahead. If Julio can work the count and get on, Rodriguez would be the hitter, and Aguilera would be ready. $40,105 the attendance. That moves the Rangers season total to 2,003,068. The homestand continues Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. 2 straight over 40,000 on this in this series. Here's the 2-ball, no strike pitch. Strike.
By the way, there are a lot of good seats left for the Indian series.
Now you're battling a weekday with school back in session, but you've also never had a situation with a pennant race, so add some things to your calendar that maybe you're not used to doing in September. Come on out to the ballpark.
Especially Tuesday. Buy the cheap seats.
Yeah, right. We'll be out in center field in some. 2 balls and a strike. 3 balls and a strike. There are few hitters, maybe no hitters on the Ranger roster that are more cognizant of the situation than Julio Franco when he's at the plate.
Amen.
What the pitcher's going to try to do, what he needs to do.
He is one of the few hitters in baseball that works the pitcher.
He worked him into center field. It is caught. Oh my! Mack comes in and makes the catch just off the knees, and the Rangers can't get that 3rd run, but boy, did they come close as Franco ripped it to center. We have played 8, Minnesota 4, Texas 2.
G5AC needs to be moved as soon as possible.
Here's our Sherwin-Williams play of the game. This is one we hope does not hold up, but right now it did. Rangers have the 3rd run at second base, and the ball spanked by Franco in the last half inning, and Mack, and I'll tell you what, that's not an easy catch. That ball is coming at you, and you've got to decide whether or not it's going to sink. He got to it before it hit the turf. Had he not caught that ball, a run would have scored, and if he hadn't blocked it, it could have been a lot more. But, there's that word again. We go to the 9th. It is 4-2 Twins, and there's Bob Patterson, the new Ranger pitcher.
Cowboy Bob comes on to pitch the 9th. Has, over the last few appearances, brought the ERA back down. But Patterson, who's got a wonderful walks to strikeouts ratio, has given up a lot of hits. And one of Patterson's problems is he has trouble with the first man. The first man he's faced this year is hitting .349 against him, and that's not a stat you like your relievers to carry into a game.
1 homer every 6 innings is not good either. He's given up 8 of those. In fact, all the Ranger left-handers have that problem, except for Rogers. Well, Rogers for a starter is about average, but the relief pitchers, all the Ranger relievers have a problem with long balls. Here's McCarty. McCarty has a 2-run double, and that is the margin right now. That was the last man that Nolan Ryan faced. He had a 3-2 count with 2 outs, and McCarty doubled to left, scoring both, giving the Twins a 4-1 lead, and it is now 4-2. McCarty has that 1 hit in 3 at-bats.
Key hit in the game. And that was one of those emotional decisions Kennedy had to make. Does he go with it? And the heart and the mind tugging back and forth. Do I leave Ryan in and have him get the out and get the standing ovation and try to get him the win down only 2-1? And one batter too long is what Ryan stayed in the game for.
1 ball and 1 strike. On the fist, little bloop right side. Palmeiro. 1 out. Oh, there's the first hitter.
Boy, that may be the ugliest out of the day.
Jammed him, but he's happy with the 1 hit he has, because it was a big one. Stahoviak will hit. Bob Patterson knows what it is to be on a winner. He was with the Pirates.
Meanwhile, the Twins, you would have never thought of a Minnesota team having trouble scoring runs. But, Greg, they're on a pace to score 100 fewer runs this year than last year. And while that's bad enough, Greg, baseball scoring is up 12%. And they're going to be down over 15%. That's a horrible cross trend here. Everybody else is scoring more, and they're scoring more than a half run per game less than last year.
Well, they are a whopping 22 under 500. Fly ball left field going back Gonzalez. The wind is carrying it to the wall. It is off the top of the wall. Stahoviak goes into second base with a double. That time he got some wind help.
Yeah, that ball really seemed to carry, as opposed to a ball Rodriguez hit earlier in the game that was stopped dead by the wind.
I think it all depends on the exact second you hit it.
I think you're right.
It depends what the wind is going to do with it.
Yeah, because the wind is obviously swirling, and this ball looks like a pretty well hit fly ball to left that winds up rarely, in fact, 3-4 feet short of a homer.
Yeah, actually, and that's one of those you're going to say, well, now why did Warren turn around? The problem is the whole time the ball is hit, you're not sure where it's going to come down. If he knew for sure it was going to land there, yeah, he goes straight through the wall and makes the catch. But you can't tell.
Yep.
You just can't tell. Here's Hocking. Hocking turns around and bats right-handed now, the switch hitter. He has a double in 3 at-bats. Once again, the Rangers cannot allow that run in. The Rangers cannot fall any further back. But there is a bright side. The White Sox did lose, so the worst the Rangers get out of this day is a bit of treading water. And while it's tough to tread water when you're down to your final 20 games, the reality is Rangers are close enough that they can tread occasionally. Just don't lose anymore.
Reality is you're not going to win them all anyway.
No. That's fouled back.
Meanwhile, it appears that Willis' day is over. And Rick Aguilera, who is 29 for 33 in save situations this year, 5 for 5 against the Rangers.
And that's probably accurate. He is the Minnesota bullpen. He is the guy when it gets down late and they have a chance to win, which hasn't happened a lot. They've only won 60 times this year.
Well, he's saved 29 of 60. When you figure several other games aren't save situations, it tells you exactly Aguilera's worth on this club.
1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, Greg, you look at, other than Aguilera, next high on the Twins and saves is Trombley with 2.
Well, Aguilera is the man who gets the call when they have a chance. That's for sure. 2 balls and a strike with 1 out. Hocking, the number 9 man in the batting order. Bob Patterson, the Rangers' 3rd pitcher. On the 5th. That'll hold the runner at... Whoops. And Huey may get 2 on that one. Because the runner went to 3rd and he wasn't going to go.
Well, error 6.
Okay, they're gonna just say the throw is what did it, but he wasn't going to go. That's the only tricky part about that. And of course, the runner at first wasn't going to be safe. He was not going to be safe. That's what allows the base runner first. They've only given 1, but the runner going to 3rd should probably get a double situation too. Stahoviak.
And we're going to go to the right-hander Bronke out of the Texas pen to face the leadoff hitter Chuck Knobloch for the Twins. Bronke, he of the Afghanistan birth and the largest chaw of tobacco I remember in Arlington Stadium in years. Ooh, Bob Steinfeld, our senior producer, tells us it's the largest chaw since Steve Foucault, and it may be larger than Foukie's only because this is a bigger man.
We've also had a vote for Jeff Fry, but of course Jeff is not real big, and his jaw would look huge.
Sparky Lyle had a pretty good-sized jaw, but Bronke looks downright deformed.
He's one of those guys that it's true, too, had a problem because the rules in the minor leagues are you can't do it, and he's been up and down. So it's a nasty habit and eventually will die out of baseball thanks to the fact that it's not allowed in the minors, but these guys who've been around for a while, when they get up here, they're going to stick with it. Hopefully this young fella will never pick it up. He's just going to chew on leather, huh?
Bronke has worked 29 innings and 17 appearances this year, an earned run average in the middle fours, 33 hits in the 29 innings, 3 of them homers, a couple of wild pitches. The league's hitting .287 against Bronke. Boy, is there going to be a fight for right-hander spots in this bullpen next year. With Carpenter having been acquired by trade, Whiteside, Nelson just signed, says he wants to stay.
Rangers trailing by 2, but there are runners on the corners with 1 out. Bronke needs to throw a double play ball to a guy that fairly hard to double. Looks like we're going to have a pinch runner also for the Twins at third base.
That is the inspector, Jeff Rebele, who you probably think would stay in and play third in place of Stahoviak. Now, Greg, you got to be very aware here of the fact that Knobloch will bunt in this situation.
Good spot for it. He can get the runner in from third base just by laying it down and move the runner at first up, even if Chuck himself is thrown out. As we're running through some of the scores in right now the National League. Bronke facing Knobloch.
Rodriguez, the delay there was for Rodriguez to step out and flash defensive signals. If you're the Rangers, do you pitch out on the first pitcher?
You got to be careful with the first pitch. Let's see. They're looking for him to maybe try it. The third baseman was very much aware, Palmer, of anything going. The runner at first base is Hocking. And they got Rebele at third, and you got a guy who normally handles the bat well.
Well, ahead in the count, you have to be even a little more leery of it here.
Well, now they're even more ahead of the count. 2 balls and no strikes. Now you just sit on it, make him throw a strike first.
Or you feel this is your one ideal pitch to put it on.
It would be, except that you don't know. This guy just came out of the bullpen. He may never throw a strike.
Maybe he's just pure wild. You're exactly right.
Let's see what the Twins think. Waiting for him to throw a strike, and he did. 2 balls and a strike.
Now, if you've got real nerve and you're the Rangers, you pitch out.
You're right, because and I'll tell you what, the Rangers will do it only if they think they have the sign. That's my guess. And they're pretty good at stealing them, but
yeah, this is a play you'd see a lot more in the National League, the squeeze here.
Could be 2. Hewson. There's one from Strange. It's a double play, and the Rangers get out of it in the top of the 9th. Oh, boy. Rangers trailing by 2. Bronke serves up the DP ball. Hewson atones for his error. And now, coming up in the 9th, Rodriguez to lead it off. The Rangers need 2 to tie, 3 to win. Rangers' last chance to climb within 2.5 of the top. White Sox losing earlier, Rangers trailing now. Then Rick Aguilera, who has been deaf to most swinging things.
Yes, he has. This will not surprise Greg Lucas to find out that Rick Aguilera is from West Covina High in California. Every Twin, it seems, that we introduce is a Californian by birth. Aggie's having a terrific year on a team that's not having a very good year. Look at the hits to innings pitched. Look at the walks to strikeout ratio. Against the Rangers, he's appeared 5 times, all in save situations. He's converted them all. He's given up 2 earned runs in 7 innings to Texas this year. This is a former architectural design major at BYU who wasn't even a pitcher until his sophomore year in college. This is a terrific hitter, and in certain situations, the Twins will even use Aguilera as a pinch hitter. Over the 3 years coming into this season, Aguilera had 115 saves in 3 years.
Well, let's see what he does here. Rangers have beaten him, but it was last year when Juan Gonzalez hit a 3-run homer in a 5-4 Texas win. That was last year, and Juan would be the 8th man to bat in the innings. The Rangers would have to be doing a lot to get that far. They would no doubt have at least tied it up. Mathematically, you can probably figure that out. Here is Rodriguez, who has flied out, lined out, and grounded out. And Aguilera knows what the Rangers want. They want a base runner. They've got to get one on to have a chance.
Actually, it would be tied 4-4 with the bases loaded if Gonzalez batted again in this game.
No,
Just
we'll take that.
Yes, I think all Ranger backers would
And
take
2
that.
outs. No balls and a strike. There, strike 2. Well, Rodriguez doing his part. He's trying to hope that Aguilera won't throw any strikes, but he's thrown 2 in a row. Pudge in a big hole now. He's got to protect the plate. He is the best converted starter, certainly since Eckersley. Aguilera was a starter till about 90. Missed.
Barely missed.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
And you know, he didn't want to convert, Greg. He did not want to be a bullpen pitcher. Boy, now.
That was high and fouled back. I mean, it was not high out of the strike zone necessarily, but it wasn't probably where he wanted to throw it. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, Aggie will throw the fastball high and the breaking ball down. The problem with that is on the few occasions he gets hurt by the ball up when he doesn't have a lot on it.
Yeah, he's got what is called a rising fastball. It is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Took a little off, fouled back. Rodriguez staying alive. Remember, the significance here is very simple. If Pudge gets on, the next hitter is a guy who can take it out of the park, Dean Palmer.
By the way, Lynn Elliott has missed a 30-yard field goal for the Cowboys.
1 ball and 2 strikes. There's a shot, base hit, and the tying run comes to the plate of man with power.
Now, Aguilera hasn't pitched in a few days. Certainly not long enough to think he's rusty, but Rodriguez does a terrific job of hanging in there.
He was out and got that on the end of the bat. But it was enough. Palmer has singled and struck out twice. He has 28 home runs. The Rangers would love to see number 29 right here. But instead, he's fooled badly on the first pitch. No balls and a strike.
Holtz would be on deck, and then Houston, but you know Houston would not hit. The Rangers would go to somebody.
Down by 2, this would have been a game where you might have actually used Balbona.
Yes.
No balls and 2 strikes to Dean. Major hole now.
Well, Gary Reedus is down there if his knees would allow him to pinch hit. Gino Petrali.
Well, Dean wasn't much of a challenge. 1 out.
As Holtz comes to the plate, let's see who comes out of the dugout. Knowing Kennedy, I'm going to gamble on Reedus, even though he's a right-hand hitter. Knowing Kennedy, here's a high fastball pitcher.
You're right. That's who it is.
This is a guy Reedus got a chance to hit because his strength matches Aggie's strength.
Also, of course, battling that hamstring. You got to be sure he doesn't hit one on the ground that can be turned into a double play. He lines it to center, but Mack will get that one on the shoe tops. Boy, Rangers have had no luck dropping it in front of Mack. They're 2 outs. Last out, and Reedus will bat. That ball was hit well enough. Rangers 2 of the 3 in this inning have done well enough. Only Palmer was rather anemic.
Gary has a pinch 3-run homer this year, and we did the game. Remember that game in Milwaukee where we couldn't figure out why Reedus would be the pinch hitter in the 8th inning, and boom, the first pitch.
That was it, and that's the one where we initially anointed Kevin Kennedy a genius.
Yes. Kevin has pushed a lot of right buttons this year, and Reedus has played exceptionally well for this club.
Well, he had another game here in which he pinch hit late and just missed one that would have won a game. The foul by a few inches, and then he was finally retired, and the Rangers lost. 287, 6 homers. He's the Rangers' last hope to keep it either alive or, with a big one, tie it up. Don't forget, we'll still be with you, though, for Nolan Ryan festivities following the game. There's a foul back. I think he liked that pitch. He's kind of hobbling over after taking the swing, but I think he liked that pitch.
Well, you can tell Gary's knees aren't very good, though. But if you're Aguilera, you've got to know the book on Reedus, and that is he's dead red. He's fastball hitter. So ahead in the count, you probably got to consider staying away from the ball that Reedus most likely hits out of the park, and that's the fastball.
No balls and a strike.
Wasted the fastball.
1 ball and a strike. After Reedus, if he can keep it alive, it will be the top of the batting order. Rob Ducey. Strike call. I think Reedus laid off that one, not necessarily because he thought it was a ball, but he had really started to pull the trigger way too late. Jackie Moore and Kevin Kennedy looking from the dugout, hoping that something can happen to keep the Ranger winning streak alive.
Boy, look at Gary's knees give way on the swing, basically. He suffers from tendinitis, and it's just not going to go away. And he doesn't quite even get the swing completed, Greg, before the knees give way, and he has to sort of give in to the pain. Take a look at the completion of this swing for Reedus. Ooh. And then look at the expression of pain on his face.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Reedus batting for Houston, who came in for Diaz defensively after Peltier had hit for him in the 7th. 2 outs. Rangers down by 2 in the 9th. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Rangers already have Donald Harris warming up in the dugout if Reedus gets on. He's got a helmet and he's been stretching. He would run at first base. Goodness, gusty wind really whipped through here. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, a little bit of advantage, Texas. Rodriguez gets to run, so it takes the force out away from the Twins defense.
Ducey, the hitter, if he can get up with runners at first and second and 2 outs, you can score from first base on an extra base hit with 2 outs. But This pitch is crucial. Runner goes at first, driven to center field, but there's that man again, and that's it.
Man, nothing but shots to Mack late in the game.
Rangers go down by a final score of 4-2. They gave it a shot late. No runs, 1 hit, 2 line drive outs, and 1 man left on base. The final score of the ball game: the Twins 4, the Rangers 2. So the Rangers stay 3.5 games behind the Chicago White Sox in the West.